Old dude is now live. Like, share, subscribe. It is the mind of Mr. Nagazilla. 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 Old dude is now live. Like, share, subscribe. It is the mind of Mr. Nagazilla. 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 Nagazilla.
Breeze on the beat. Come on, you scroll past everyone and sign. Laugh it off, call it doing fine. Coffee cold on your crooked desk. World on fire, you just need a rest. You scroll, you blink, cold years to slip. Head down in headlines, heart out of sync, you joke. I'm fine, your coffee's cold. You missed the moment, chasing the goal. To be unaware of the times, presented to the eyes. A mistake you can't afford is a gamble with your life. You say I don't wanna know, but the wave is at your door. To be unaware of the times is a cost you can't ignore. Inbox red, but you mute the sound. Talking big with your head in the clouds. Weather changes while you're turned away. Storms already on your street today. Your mama call, you let it ring. Type call you later, then change the thing. Your kid just danced in socks untied. You caught it sideways, forgot to smile. To be unaware of the times, presented to the eyes. A mistake you can't afford is a gamble with your life. You say I don't wanna know, but the wave is at your door. To be unaware of the times is a cost you can't ignore. Look up just once, let it hit you. Let it hit you. Oh, truth hurts, so what? It'll save you before it breaks you. What if this day is all you get? Would you still hurry or taste it? Yeah. You scroll past another headline. Mute the sirens in your head. Change your channel on the chaos. Say you'll deal with it instead someday. Friends are shouting from the shoreline. You still laughing in the tide. Building castles out of deadlines. The water's on your side, yeah. Be unaware of the times, presented to the eyes. A mistake you can't afford is a gamble with your life. You say I don't wanna know, but the wave is at your door. To be unaware of the times is a cost you can't ignore. The signs of the times all around you, but you can't see it, huh? Unable to see with your true eyes and a calcified pineal gland. Wake up. This wholesale hoe gonna
yeah. Listen up. You have to pick a side. Yeah. 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 They profit when we're boxed in, color coded. Scroll wars, broke floors. Mine's corroded. Got you barking at your neighbor for a headline. Why they signing off the city for a deadline? Yeah. Same rent late, same fridge bare. What? Same bus route, same blank stare. Why you beefing with the mirror, letting them demons in? Same wound, same blade, different spin. Unified die, that's the bottom line. Either hold the line together or they cut the spine. You can fight me or you can fight the lie. Choose one, unify or die. Unify, die, hear the battle cry. Either build a bridge or we all run dry. You can hate your blood or you can hate the bind. Choose one, unify or die. They sell fear like it's candy in a glass jar. Feeding panic to the masses, playing a black card. Left, right, that's a puppet in a split suit. Real power sitting quiet in a rich room. You throw hands at your brother in the same trench. Same cough in your chest, the same bench. If the landlord love you both in the same way, you ain't rivals, you just victims on a layaway. Unify or die, that's the bottom line. Either hold the line together or they cut the spine. You can fight me or you can fight the lie. Choose one, unify or die. Unify or die, hear the battle cry. Either build a bridge or we all run dry. You can hate your blood or you can hate the bind. Choose one, yeah, unify or die. Hands up, not for trans, for each other. Name one win, they ain't split us to cover. We all broke, they just changed the shade. Same storm, different rain on our face. I'm from a place where they rather see us vilify. Scrolling through the pain, pick a side, then we signify. Algorithm war, every comment like a battle cry. Either we expand the circle, or we simplify. Feet keep telling me I'm right, that's a lullaby. Rock us all to sleep, while the roof sitting over fire. Leaders talk tough, but their courage only monetized. I'm just trying to build a bridge higher than the border signs. Kids growing up, thinking empathy is obsolete. Hearts on red receipts, love lost in the data sheet. History repeats when we treat truth like a product line. Either share the water or we watch the whole garden die. So I look my people in the face when the sirens cry. Pull each other up even when we don't see eye to eye. Hands in the middle, swear we live in what we testify. Say we rise together, this the code, unify or die. Unify or die, that's the bottom line. Either hold the line together or they cut the spine. You can fight me or you can fight the lie. Choose one, unify or die. Unify or die, hear the battle cry. Either build a bridge or we all run dry. You can hate your blood or you can hate the bind. Choose one, unify or die.
Well, if you had any hope yesterday that the world would maybe start to return to normal, forget about that, because the so-called ceasefire lasted less than 12 hours. A couple of things happened over the last 24 hours. One is that Israel unleashed a horrific bombing of civilian residential buildings in Lebanon, killing hundreds of innocent people, including many children. And Israel declared publicly, we don't respect any ceasefire, any peace deal, exactly as I predicted right here on this podcast yesterday. But then, in addition to that, this is really something. Trump and the White House basically said, what peace deal? What are you talking about? What 10-point plan? Carolyn Leavitt, who is the chief liar for the White House, I mean, just an enabler of crimes against humanity is what she's doing. She said that the president threw the 10-point plan in the trash. This is the same plan that just almost a day earlier, Trump was apparently celebrating, talking about how the Middle East is going to have a new golden era and we're all going to make so much money, because that's the only way that Trump thinks about things, is how much money they're going to make. You know, that's his entire worldview. He only has one dimension, and it's how much money can he make off of everybody else. But then later in the evening, Trump posted this, quote, all U.S. ships, aircraft, and military personnel with additional ammunition, weaponry, and anything else that is appropriate and necessary for the lethal prosecution.
Live and learn. Salute. Was backing.
And destruction of an already substantially degraded enemy will remain in place in and around Iran until such time as the real agreement reached is fully complied with. Although he has not announced what is the real agreement. It only exists in his head, I think. He goes on, he says, if for any reason it is not, which is highly unlikely, then the shooting starts bigger and better and stronger than anyone has ever seen before. Yes, Trump is insane. Yes, he needs to be removed from office. But anyway, he continues, It was agreed a long time ago, and despite all of the fake rhetoric to the contrary, no nuclear weapons, and the Strait of Hormuz will be open and safe. In the meantime, our great military is loading up and resting, looking forward, actually, to its next conquest. America is back. And you can just hear the song, America, F yeah. You know the song I'm talking about from the Puppet Show movie. Yeah, Team America, that's the song. Okay. So we have truly arrived at a point where Trump is incomprehensible, utterly mad, like mercury poisoning level of insanity. He has no consistent reality. This is where we're at. 12 hours earlier, he could have tweeted, "Oh, we have a deal. It's going to be peace. Everything's great." And then, 12 hours later, he's like, "We're going to kill you all and destroy your civilization." That's where we are with Trump. And he exists solely at this point to rig markets and make a lot of money for his insiders and family members and whoever else is close enough to him to get the inside scoop so they can place bets on Polymarket or oil futures or what have you. That's Trump's only remaining function. Except from the Democrats' point of view, Trump's function is actually to stay in office and continue to embarrass the GOP, which he's doing at a master level. No one has done more to discredit the GOP, probably since Richard Nixon, than Donald Trump today. He is absolutely gutting the credibility of the party, but also the credibility of the United States. However, the Democrats really want Trump to stay in power, at least until the midterms. And he will, probably, until the midterms. And then, who knows? Democrats may try to impeach him next year, but they don't really want to remove him with a vote in the Senate. So they'll impeach him in the House, making sure that they lose the removal vote in the Senate, which they might not have, 60 votes or whatever it takes there for the impeachment anyway, for the removal. So they'll vote in the House to impeach him. But they still want Trump in the White House all the way up through the 2028 elections so that they can have a clean sweep. Democrats take the House, the Senate, and the White House, if there's anything left by then, which is increasingly doubtful. I'm always skeptical of how long this whole clown show charade can even continue. And that brings me to my next point. The Mad Max scenario is back on, folks. It's back on. Remember how yesterday I was talking about if the Strait of Hormuz is open, and if Iran allows, let's say, 100 ships a day to pass through the strait, it's going to take 30 full days of wide open strait for 3,000 ships to pass through there. And, whether that number is accurate, are there really 3,000 ships in there? I don't know. Maybe there's 2,000, maybe there's 2,500, whatever. You're going to have that thing open close to 30 days, and we didn't even get 30 hours. So forget the, all the good news and it's wide open. We opened the strait. We won. Didn't win jack. Strait's closed. The war is back on, which means that the Mad Max outcome scenario is also back on. For all the countries in the world that are on the edge of losing their energy, losing their fuel, losing their industry, losing their food and farming and fertilizer, that whole scenario back on, reactivated, reanimated, like the undead rising from the grave. I'm back, That's because Trump is an absolute raging lunatic. And so the world is going to suffer like never before. And I don't see a scenario at this point where this ends unless Israel is stopped. See, Israel is the spoiler in all of this, as you may have guessed. Israel started the bombing immediately, so we don't honor any ceasefire. Meanwhile, Pakistan, which had served as the hub of the so-called negotiations, Pakistan said, yeah, the agreement is that Israel should stop bombing Lebanon. And Israel said, well, we don't agree to that. And then later on, the White House said, well, we didn't agree to that either. It's not even in the agreement. But it is. It actually is in the agreement. It's in the text that Pakistan
None of your business. What's fact?
put out publicly all over Twitter, So there is no agreement. There is no off-ramp for the United States. There is no solution for the world's energy supplies and helium supplies and everything else that we've talked about. And unless Israel is stopped, our world burns. This is the realization that so many people have finally come to, is that our world can never know peace as long as Israel exists. Israel has zero interest in peace or abundance or coexistence with any other country. Israel simply wants to slaughter, murder, pillage, steal everything and command everything. And it's willing to just commit genocide and war crimes day after day after day. And notice that the Democrats, most of them will not denounce Israel because they're bought and paid for by Israel also. So, by the way, don't think that replacing the GOP with the Democrats is going to solve this problem. No, it isn't. It's just going to be a different set of political whores who are still controlled by Israel. So think about that when the election time comes up. The Democrats aren't denouncing Israel's genocide, nor is anybody in the corporate media, nor is anybody in the Senate. Nobody. I mean, except a couple of members of the House like Thomas Massie, etc., and former members like Marjorie Taylor Greene. So Israel is the problem for our world. Our world cannot get back on its feet in terms of supply chains, energy, fertilizer, food, etc., as long as Israel exists. And the only way that Israel will ever stop is if you make them stop. That is, Israel will never, in my view, voluntarily stop bombing its neighbors. Israel will never voluntarily stop committing genocide because it's in the nature of the Zionists that run Israel to murder and slaughter and kill and steal because, of course, they are Satanists. They are seething with evil and hatred towards fellow human beings. So literally the only way that our world can ever get back on its feet and prevent the mass famine, the starvation deaths of potentially billions of people, the only way to stop that is to dismantle Israel, to take down Israel. And the only way to do that, clearly, is by force. Because again, Israel will not honor any agreement. They've proven it over and over and over again. So what Trump should actually do is redirect the entire US military to assault Israel, bomb Tel Aviv, go in with all the US Marines and troops, go in, arrest all the leaders of Israel, take all the nuclear weapons out of Israel. If you want to do a nuclear rescue mission, there it is. Take the nukes away from Israel, prosecute all the war criminals there, which is, almost everybody in government and the military there, prosecute all the IDF people, and dismantle Israel so that it can never rise again to the evil, satanic, genocidal regime that it is today. You have to dismantle and end all recognition for Israel as a legitimate nation. You have to basically reverse the UN Charter for the very existence of Israel, because the people of Israel, the leaders of it, have proven that they cannot coexist with anybody else in our world. And that's the only solution there is. Anything short of that, if you don't do that, in other words, the world burns and people starve and you have economic collapse. And so effectively, Trump must now make a choice. He has to make a choice between either serving Israel or serving the rest of humanity, including the United States. If you choose Israel, which of course he will, because they have blackmail on him, then the world burns and the war goes on and the strait stays closed for who knows how long, how many months or longer, and everybody suffers and lots of people die. On the other hand, if Trump would choose humanity and America, then he would immediately cut off all funding to Israel, all military aid, all weapons, all intelligence, all communications, all diplomatic recognition. He would actually go in and bomb Israel and assault Israel and arrest all of its leaders and shut that demonic country down. Only then would Trump actually be doing something presidential and something in America's interest. Because Israel is not America's greatest ally, as we're always told. Israel is America's greatest enemy. Israel is, in fact, the enemy of all of humanity. Israel is the country that is dragging our world into destruction, potentially with nuclear weapons. And if anybody uses them, it'll be Israel first, almost certainly. So if Trump severs all ties with Israel, even invades and bombs Israel and dismantles the entire country, then Trump could redeem himself as MAGA, putting America first, and actually maybe then he would get the Nobel Peace Prize. Maybe he would earn it at that point. If you arrest Netanyahu and completely dismantle the Zionist regime, you deserve a Nobel Peace Prize, because that's the ultimate act of peace for our world right now. That's the act of peace that the world needs more than anything else. And if you can't do that, then you need to be removed. And by the way, this is just a personal note, but I will never vote for a candidate that takes money from Israel again. I mean, I'm sure I have in the past because I didn't know that they took money from Israel, because so many of them do. But from now on, I will check carefully. That's going to become my number one vote. My number one issue is whether they take money from Israel. Period. They take money from Israel, they do not have my support at all. And that's the way we all need to act, because Israel has infested America's.
Roger W. What's fackin'? Oh shit. Damn, Nunya. There's a centipede on the apple.
Political ecosystem, like a parasite, like a zombie parasite that's causing America to destroy itself. And that's part of the plan from Netanyahu as well, is to destroy the Gulf nations, to get Iran to bomb those nation states into oblivion, to get America to bomb Iran, and then to get America to self-destruct because it suffers financial collapse from spending so much money on wars. And then when all that is said and done, then Israel will try to assert its projection of power for greater Israel using the nuclear weapons it still has, and it will threaten all of its neighbors, and it will bomb and kill and murder and rape and pillage, because that's what Zionists do, until some future.
Somebody need to inform Israel that it isn't real. Tell them that they ain't real. I don't think they got that memo.
Future date when they're stopped by somebody else, maybe by Russia, maybe by China, who knows? But America doesn't have long left at this pace, because of the debt, the horrible debt situation that we have been thrust into. And there are evil people out there that are counting on that. In the meantime, as all of this is happening, some of the leaders of the so-called Christian churches are, of course, preaching the end of days, but you got to give them all your money first. Here we have John Hagee. I forgot what group he's part of, but it's some big, like, Americans for Israel group or something. He's a Christian Zionist pastor, and he says that everybody has to immediately prepare for the return of Jesus Christ, who's going to rule for 1,000 years from Jerusalem. Because Israel, even modern day Israel that commits genocide, is, according to Hagee, it's the perfect reflection of Jesus Christ, even though it was the Israeli priests that demanded the execution of Jesus to be carried out by the Romans, but at the demand of the Israeli priests. We've been over this before. So Hagee says that God has commanded all Christians and all churches to bless Jewish people under any circumstances, even if they are carrying out genocide and child trafficking and rape, whatever. Hagee says that that's Jesus working, and you have to support that. So according to Hagee, in essence, although I'm paraphrasing, Hagee basically says that Jesus supports rapists and Jesus supports genocide. Jesus supports murder. That's what the Christian churches have become today. Under these lunatic Zionist pastors like Hagee and a lot of others. Gregory Locke is another lunatic as well. There's a bunch of them, and in my view, they're all spiritual con artists. It's very clear. There's a famous meme that circulates on this. It says, "No Bible verse compels me to support a nation formed in 1948 by UN partition, United Nations, and international bankers," because that's not in the Bible. By the way, see, modern day Israel they just stole the name Israel from the Old Testament to trick simple-minded Christian Zionist morons into thinking that modern day Israel is the same Israel of the Bible. They just took the name. It's impersonation. It would be like, if you founded the Church of Brad Pitt or something, and then you pretended that you were Brad Pitt. and all the followers thought you were Brad Pitt, Not that he would lead a church or anything. I'm just using that as an example, but you get the idea. So they said, we're Israel. No, they're not. They impersonated Israel. It's identity theft at the
Damn, Mike talking shit, ain't he? Damn. You thievery practicing. Oh shit, Mike.
Spiritual level. And then in the name of that identity theft, then they carry out acts of extreme genocide and sinister evil and satanic destruction, etc., etc. Now, getting back to the Trump tweet that we started with here, Colonel Daniel Davis, who's been doing a lot of excellent work on this, he reacted to that. I want to read part of his statement. He said, President Trump's Truth Social post makes it appear that he only agreed to a ceasefire with Iran to reload our ammo in the planes and ships. That only reinforces the reputation he has already earned of deceiving negotiating partners into believing he's engaging in good faith diplomacy while in reality preparing for the next attack. Iran no doubt expected more deception from us and has prepared accordingly, but the president will not materially gain from this extra time or ammo reload because our problem isn't adequate quantities of offense and defense missiles. The problem is we embarked on a war without justification, without legal authorization, and that is militarily unattainable. All the ammunition in the world won't win this for us because you can't bomb a country 4 times bigger than Iraq and into submission solely by air power. And even if you could muster a field army of 500,000 men, which we can't, that still wouldn't achieve a victory. The best thing President Trump could do, now that he started a war of choice he shouldn't have chosen, is to end it quickly. At this point, I would cheer on a taco outcome because as bad as it would genuinely be, that is less bad than foolishly ignoring reality and still trying to double down and send in more combat power. That will only increase the cost of our eventual defeat, which is now baked in. And Daniel Davis is correct. This is going to end in a humiliating United States military defeat. In fact, the U.S. military has already been defeated. The question is, how much more does Trump want to humiliate the United States military and the reputation of the U.S. as a geopolitical entity? How much more? It's kind of like a street fight between two guys, and one of them is just getting beat up so badly, and teeth are broken and nose is broken, blood's coming out of their eyes, and they're like, I'm gonna kick your ass, and oh, you want some more beating? Okay, start breaking fingers and elbows, and skull or cheekbones and skull bones and things like that. They're like, I'm winning, I'm kicking your ass. That's Trump, and that's the U.S. military. You're not winning anything. The only question is, how much of a bloody pulp do you want to end up being, metaphorically speaking, militarily speaking, by the time this whole conflict ends? How much more embarrassment do you want for the United States military? And apparently Trump wants all of it. He wants total defeat. Historic. Like, I don't know, what do you even compare this to? Like Custer's last stand defeat level or something, Alamo level defeat, except that's not a great metaphor because we're not the defenders, but you get the idea. Trump wants a massive military defeat for America to completely destroy any remaining credibility of the United States of America. Or at least that's the direction he's moving in, which probably at the behest of Netanyahu, who wants that exact outcome as well. Anyway, bottom line here, folks, is that the world's supply chain is still wrecked. The Mad Max scenario is still unfolding. And unless there's some off-ramp to this conflict, which there clearly doesn't seem to be, tried that already, then I don't see how 8 billion people can continue to survive on this planet without the materials coming out of the Persian Gulf. I'm talking about, the energy, the natural gas, the fertilizer, all of it. Clearly, we can't support 8 billion people without those molecules coming out of the Persian Gulf. And if you thought that Israel's genocide against the citizens of Palestine and Gaza was bad, which it was, that was hundreds of thousands of people killed. Those are rookie numbers compared to how many Israel will indirectly kill with U.S. help by waging this war on Iran that could result in the deaths of billions of human beings. We're talking about a whole new level of Holocaust here, something that would dwarf even, the Jews' claims of 6 million deaths in World War II. Those would be tiny numbers compared to what is likely coming if we don't resolve this issue. And the shocking thing to me is that almost nobody seems to understand this, because there's still food on the shelves today. There's still gas at the gas station today. Especially America, they think, oh, it's a war over there that does not affect us, but it will affect us. It's just there's a delay. There's just a delay. So yeah, it's coming, unfortunately. All right, let me mention a couple things. On the good news side, we have our own new vitamin D3 plus K2 supplement now at healthrangerstore.com. And you would not believe how incredibly difficult it is to source vitamin D3 in a responsible, ethical manner that does not have weird hidden ingredients in it, which nobody lists on the label. We need to do a whole story one day on the vitamin D supply chain scam, because it's a quagmire, let me tell you. I had no idea how dirty and deceptive it was until we tried to start sourcing our own bulk vitamin D with K2, etc., which again now available healthrangerstore.com. Laboratory test. It is not processing. Put on the label. It says there. I think nope, and almost everywhere. But not with us. We do the testing. We have Clean Foods and Super this guide company that I recommend that I use. I've tried many of them on the internet. No, maybe the times a week. So injuries, martial arts injuries mostly. Too much jiu-jitsu and Krav Maga and stuff like that. Little too much. But this BPC 157 actually restores blood supply to scar tissue and joints, and it allows your body to heal.
Okay, Mike.
Yeah, which is our supply chain. A couple of years of trying to source a clean version of vitamin D3 that we finally found the environment where more amazing foods.
Yeah.
The vitamin D3 looks like there. Thank you for supporting amazing more global nuclear war. Well, since we are now facing the very real possibility of global nuclear war.
Let me pause this for a second. I found this interesting. You wildin', chopping it up. Okay.
Here's Donald Trump attempting to negotiate peace talks with Iran.
Yeah, sure. Get down.
No, I ain't mad at you. I just want to talk to you.
been on in the last 24 hours, buddy, and what an absolute roller coaster the world has been on in the last 24 hours. Let's recap where we started and where we're at this morning, okay? We went from yesterday, of course, putting out those threats that we were going to obliterate an entire civilization, to mere hours later coming to a historic ceasefire that was total and utter surrender by the United States, giving Iran literally everything they could ever want in that deal, to our greatest ally, of course, massively violating that ceasefire today and breaking as of just a few moments ago. Yes, Iran has reclosed the Strait of Hormuz, which renders the ceasefire over, essentially. So, wow, what an absolute clown show we are witnessing right now. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Helps the channel. Follow us on Patreon. Grab some America First, America Only merch. All right, let's jump into it. Let's talk about it. What happened? All right, let's recap a little bit. Okay, so again, of course, it was announced yesterday by Trump that we came to this historic 2-week ceasefire. And, well, the 10-point plan that Iran proposed the United States must agree to for an end to this war, yeah, well, let's just say MAGA is not happy about it today. But don't worry, our greatest ally already destroyed that ceasefire. But let's talk about what this 10-point plan was going to be first. So Donald Trump posted this announcing the ceasefire last night. And of course, the most important thing here is this line: we received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it's a workable basis on which to negotiate. Okay, let's take a look at what that 10-point plan actually is. All right, the 10-point plan includes all of these amazing things for the United States. What a victory. Commitment to no further aggression, continuation of Iran's control over the Strait of Hormuz, acceptance of uranium enrichment. So, you know, I guess that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. Guess that was a fucking lie, huh? Lifting all primary sanctions, lifting all secondary sanctions, termination of all UN Security Council resolutions, termination of all Board of Governor resolutions, payment of financial compensation to Iran for everything we've destroyed, withdrawal of U.S. combat forces from the region, and cessation of war on all fronts, including against Hezbollah in Lebanon. And that number 10 is going to become very, very, very important as we move forward in this video. Now, obviously, the MAGA neocons are crashing the out this morning over this. The Larry Loomers, the Mark Levines, absolutely furious that, well, they fell for it again, huh? Now, to be honest, guys, I thought this was fantastic. This was like the best possible case scenario for everyone involved. We said this from the very start of the war. Best case scenario here is Donald Trump completely surrenders. He walks away. He declares total and utter victory. Nobody believes it, but it's okay because his ego gets a little pat on the back, even though he's being laughed at on the world stage. And we stop wasting hundreds of billions of dollars in American soldier lives in a war in the Middle East. And potentially we leave the Middle East. I think it would be absolutely fantastic. So I'm all about this deal. I'm not going to knock Trump for this. Again, it's the opposite of everything he promised his own base, but it's great for the American firsters and the people who actually care about America and the economy and all these different things, right? We're getting out of this war and potentially out of the Middle East completely, right? Great stuff. However, there's one loser in this 10-point plan, one really big loser, and that's our greatest ally. And so they've got no fucking interest in letting this ceasefire go through. And in fact, they've already made sure it's not going through. Oh, but real quick, forgot to mention, that's not all. There's also some additions to that 10-point plan, and that is to comply with the ceasefire. Trump's agreed that all American oil tankers passing through the Strait of Hormuz would be required to pay Iran a fucking $2 million per tanker fee, because that's going to keep oil prices down. Well done, Trump. And even poor Fox News forced to report on this.
A non-aggression pact with Iran, continuing Iran's control over the Strait of Hormuz, acceptance that Iran can enrich uranium for its nuclear program, removal of all primary sanctions on Iran, removal of secondary sanctions, an end of all UN Security Council resolutions against Iran.
And you get the point. Yeah. MAGA is not happy about this. Now, again, don't worry, it doesn't matter because breaking, this just happened. All right, as of literally minutes ago of me filming this, yes, live update, Iran closes the Strait of Hormuz in response to these attacks on Lebanon, per Iranian state media. And we may have just broken the record for shortest ceasefire in war history, lasting about 13 hours before, again, our greatest ally made sure this shit didn't go through. And it makes sense because, again, they're the biggest loser in this entire 10-point plan. It essentially just ends the greater Israel project immediately. So there's absolutely no way that they're willing to let this go through. I mean, we talked about this last night, and even Joe Kent called this. And this was right after the ceasefire was announced yesterday.
Great news this evening that there's been a 2-week ceasefire agreed upon tentatively between us and the Iranians. It's unconfirmed yet if the Iranians have accepted this deal as well, but I hope that they have. It's absolutely essential that we ensure that the Israelis do not sabotage this 2-week ceasefire or eventually the lasting peace that we're trying to achieve with the Iranians.
And so again, let's remember what number 10 was on the 10-point plan. Cessation of war on all fronts, including against Hezbollah in Lebanon. Part of the agreement. And in response to that, what happened today? Yes, our greatest ally hits Lebanon with the heaviest airstrikes of the war, killing 90 and wounding 700. And that is continuing right now on civilian neighborhoods and cities, by the way. And also, they're saying it out loud right here. They are not going to let this happen. And it sounds like we may be not even sending J.D. Vance to go negotiate that peace deal on Friday at all anymore.
Fox News is reporting that oil tankers are now being stopped in the Strait of Hormuz because Iran believes that Israel has breached their ceasefire agreement. And Trump reportedly may not send J.D. Vance to Pakistan for the Friday meeting in Islamabad. Is that what Trump calls the art of the deal? Well, it looks
these motherfuckers, boy, they be doing the most.
It's like Trump's ceasefire deal lasted a little under 13 hours.
And of course, while this is a disaster of a situation, at least the memes are good. Here's Donald Trump attempting to negotiate peace talks with Iran.
Yeah, sure. Get down.
I ain't mad at you. I just want to talk to you.
Hey, that shit
And Iran posted a video today, and they actually did, of Donald Trump leaving those ceasefire negotiations.
Cardinals.tv delivers everything Cardinals baseball.
There he is. The walk of shame after giving Iran literally everything they could possibly bring. The world's greatest negotiator, everyone. And of course, the American taxpayer is a little bit confused at what exactly happened here, right? Like, we just spent $200 billion, 13 service members' lives lost so that we could open the Strait of Hormuz? And there's some video of Iran's negotiator coming back after he just secured a deal giving Iran the ability to have nuclear weapons and having all sanctions lifted. Yes, so Donald Trump's 7D chess in real time. And I know, Maggie, you're furious about this, and we're happy about it, but it doesn't really matter because it sounds like this ceasefire never had any legs to begin with. Okay, so what secured a deal giving Iran the ability to have nuclear weapons and having all sanctions lifted.
They ignorant as hell.
Yes, so Donald Trump's 7D chess in real time. And I know, MAGA, you're furious about this. Again, we're happy about it, but it doesn't really matter because it sounds like this ceasefire never had any legs to begin with. Okay, so what comes next, right? Obviously, Iran's closed the strait again, so doesn't look like things are going well. The reality is we're going to find out who's really in charge. That's what we're going to find out, because if the United States cannot put our greatest ally on a leash and stop them from violating ceasefires, well, that's going to tell us a lot about our own country, isn't it? Because again, we're the ones who pay for all of their munitions and pay for their military and pay for their ability to do this. So it seems like it would be very, very easy for Donald Trump to just flip the light switch and say, hey guys, you're effing done if you don't cut the shit. But it doesn't seem like the United States president has the power to do that. Isn't that so bizarre? I wonder why. It couldn't have anything to do with blackmail or anything like that. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the Big E files, I'm sure. But yeah, we're going to find out real quick who's actually pulling the strings on all this. Now, best case scenario is the United States announces that this ceasefire is strictly between Iran and the United States. We go forward with the deal and we leave the Middle East. We then cut off all funding to our greatest ally and say, look, you can do what you want. You want to start wars with all of your neighbors, then you are free to do that. However, you will pay for it on your own and you will fight it on your own. And I have a feeling if we actually had the balls to do that, all of this bullshit would stop. But if I had to guess, we're probably not going to see that happen. But now we do know, having seen Donald Trump literally be willing to give Iran everything they want, from lifting all sanctions to paying them hundreds of billions of dollars to allowing them to have a toll system, massively enriching themselves at $2 million a tanker. It's estimated that they'll probably make upwards of $80 billion a year off of this that they were not making before. And keep in mind, Iran's entire defense budget annually is only $10 billion a year. So they're probably going to be able to 8x their military strength just off the toll system alone on this. But it shows he is desperate to get out of this. Obviously, this has absolutely destroyed him politically. It has destroyed MAGA. The midterms are cooked. 2028 is most likely certainly gone. The economy is absolutely obliterated. Gas prices are out of control and are most likely not coming down, even with a ceasefire. So now here we are, stuck with our dicks in a bear trap, trying to get out of this thing in talks with Iran, but not being allowed to do it by our greatest ally.
First time I heard that one. Here we are, stuck with our dicks in a bear trap. Sir, keep your dick away from bear trap.
Isn't this an interesting situation? So this is obviously all developing again. As of a couple minutes ago, Iran announced that they're reclosing the strait. So we'll just have to wait and see. Who knows where we could be literally by tonight. We could be right back to where we started. So we're just going to have to wait and see on this one, huh? But that's what we got for the update so far. I'll catch y'all in the next video.
Diabolical. What it do then?
You're not just moving, you're moving in the right direction.
How am I going to play soccer in Connecticut?
All right, we may have just crossed the line we cannot come back from, because while everyone was arguing about whether this is the right thing or wrong thing online, strikes just hit one of the most critical oil hubs on the planet. We're hours away from a deadline set by Donald Trump, and Iran is threatening to choke off global energy.
No, this ain't the right one.
And inside the United States, they're talking about removing the president from office. This isn't politics anymore. This is the kind of moment that absolutely changes everything. Now, let me show you what just happened. Reports are coming in that this morning there were strikes hit on Karg Island. It's not random. It's one of Iran's most critical oil export terminals. That's where the massive portion of their oil leaves the country. You don't hit that unless you're trying to hit the economy itself. This is not battlefield tactics. This is system level warfare. You're not just damaging equipment, you're targeting the ability of a country to function. Now, this is happening just hours before the 8 p.m. deadline. Not for negotiations, not for compliance, but because we're being threatened, or what's being threatened right now is the destruction of infrastructure, bridges, power plants, energy systems. That is how you collapse a nation. Not over time. Fast, immediate, gone. And the language being used, talking about civilizations ending. That is not normal. This was posted today. A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have a complete and total regime change, where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionary and wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight. One of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the people, great people of Iran. God bless the people, but we're going to destroy you tonight, right? That is escalation language. Now, Iran's response, they're not backing down. I've been saying this all week. We keep hearing about this ghost regime that the president's talking to. Nobody knows who this is, because the people that are in charge, that are posting the media, that are making videos, all of them are completely saying they're not engaged in any type of, right? They're actually escalating. You got IRGC openly stating if the U.S. continues, it would target American and allied infrastructure across the region. And not just temporarily,
They're talking about disrupting oil and gas assets for years, destroying our economy. Our lives will never be the same. That means this isn't about retaliation. This is about long-term damage. Okay. Now, Trump was asked about if targeting essentially civilian infrastructure was a war crime. This is what he had to say.
Attacks on civilian infrastructure violate the Geneva Conventions and international law.
Who are you with?
I'm with the New York Times. Zolan from the New York Times. Are you
failing?
Are you
concerned? Circulation way down at the New York Times.
Are you concerned that your threat to bomb power plants and bridges amount to
no,
crimes?
No. I hope I don't have to do it. But again, I just said 47 years they've been negotiating with these people. They're great negotiators.
Why would that
And because they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. If you think I'm going to allow them, and powerful and rich, to have a nuclear weapon, you can tell your friends at the New York Times, not going to happen.
It means violating international law.
Quiet. You no longer have credibility at the New York Times because the New York Times said, oh, Trump won't win the election and I won in a landslide. I won every swing state. New York Times said, oh, Trump won't win the election. New York Times has no credibility.
And so also they posted this. They were mocking Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Iran Embassy of Zimbabwe. 8 p.m. is not that good. Could you change it to between 1 and 2 or if possible 1 and 2 a.m.? Thank you for your attention to this important matter. So they're mocking him. I don't know if you guys have seen the absolute bananas Lego videos. My good friend JD DeLay, he did a video talking about that last night. You can go check that out. It's a pretty good video. But it's crazy. Like they're going after the younger minds here. Like they're not dumb people. But if we break down exactly all this into plain terms, this is about oil, and oil is everything. When oil gets disrupted, you just don't feel it at the pump. You feel it at the food supply, shipping, manufacturing, medicine, your daily life. This is the backbone of modern civilizations, and it's being targeted directly. Okay. So if you layer this in, Iran has reportedly cut off direct diplomacy with the U.S. That's a problem. Because when communications stop, miscalculations increase. And historically, that's when conflicts don't stay contained, they spread. And now what we're seeing is this video I'm going to post here. You're seeing
I do better when you do better.
this civilians forming human chains around infrastructure. That tells you everything. They're expecting more strikes. They're bracing. Their leadership is calling for women and children to go stack around infrastructure, and they're doing it. They're doing it. I thought the people wanted to be freed from this country. It's wild. Now, doesn't make sense. Now, just moments ago, we saw B-2 bombers in the air. B-2 bombers reported to depart from Fairford amid Trump's threats. We also have naval assets being launched and pre-position forces already moving. Marines on the USS Tripoli have been training daily, full kit. They're not doing that just for fun. So things are definitely tightening. This is not a reaction. This is preparation, meeting execution. This has been building. And if we get into looking at some of the infrastructure destruction impact radius zones in Iran. So you see on this map here, things are definitely getting to the point of no return. And that's why today things are getting even more volatile here. It's not just external, it's internal. You've got people openly discussing the 25th Amendment. Marjorie Taylor Greene came out, who was the lifeblood of MAGA, calling for that. You've got people saying he's gone too far, people that were his friends. He's now got Alex Jones to completely jump ship. Whether you like Alex Jones or not, now I've always kind of been skeptical about Alex Jones. because Bill Cooper, someone who I respect his opinion, God bless his soul, very much, because his book, Behold the Pale Horse, gave me so much education about the world and how things work. He did not like Alex Jones. He said he was a operative, a CIA asset. So I've always been skeptical of him. But however, he has been hanging on to the MAGA movement until basically this week. And he's even talking about invoking, how can we invoke the 25th Amendment?
25th Amendment is asked.
The problem is to get the 25th Amendment is harder than impeachment. You have to get 2/3 of the House and 2/3 of the Senate.
So what do we do?
Tackle Trump and pretend, let him pretend he's president and publicly report that he's going through a health issue and Vance take over. It literally needs to be something like that. It's that bad.
So incredible. You've got fractures forming inside what used to be a unified front. Marjorie Taylor Greene speaking out. You got Tucker Carlson being blasted by Trump, saying he's an idiot and things like that. He even used, this is the same language that he used against.
Did he call that motherfucker Clucker Carlson? It sounded like you said that Clucker Carlson.
Marjorie Taylor Greene said she used to call me all the time and I stopped picking up. He's saying the same thing about Tucker Carlson. So what does that mean to me? It both can't be true. It both can't be true. And listen, I get a lot of hate, especially from the Kool-Aid drinkers, like as of late, because I am a free thinker. I'm not in a cult. I worship no man. I have my beliefs, my ideologies, and they don't change in the breeze just because a man goes off completely from what he promised. I don't change my opinion because he did. He changed, not me. Tucker Carlson said the same thing. He didn't change. It's funny because they call, they hate on Tucker Carlson, call him Tucker Carlson, like he's taking money from Qatar. You know who takes money from Qatar? The Trumps. They're putting hotels there. They got a jet from there. They're in big business dealings with Qatar. Jared Kushner, massive deals in Qatar. These people are getting rich while in office. The same thing that we talk shit about Joe Biden and Hunter Biden doing, they're doing right in your faces. And you still have the cheerleaders cheering it on, like some teenage schoolgirl that has a crush on the quarterback, cheering on like a little girl. It's crazy. It's crazy. I've never seen such men turn into simps for another guy. It's absolutely despicable. Right? These are voices that once aligned with Trump now questioning the direction. Even Sean Ryan, a few weeks ago, he said he was going to liberate the Iranian people from the evil regime. Now he has changed his plan to kill them all. The president of the United States in a nutshell. You can't make me believe that all of us are wrong. All of us that was champions for Trump. I was a champion for Trump for years. The thing that really upsets me about the MAGA Kool-Aid cult at this moment is I lost, and I don't have to go into this, but I lost massive business deals. I lost a television show that I had created with a major network because of my speaking out in support of Donald Trump. I lost massive business deals, okay? That's why I am even more furious, because I put my nuts on the line. I spoke what I, in that moment, believed in. And then you campaign on something and you go completely to the left. And the MAGA group goes with them. They're more left than the blue-haired septum rings in 2020. They freak out and spaz out worse than them. You know, the girl screaming on the day he got elected, that's how they act. You say anything about him. He was ordained by Jesus Christ. That's what I'm hearing. Craziness. Absolute insanity. So what are we actually watching here? This is not a traditional war. This is economic warfare, infrastructure warfare, system disruption. See, the Taliban and Al-Qaeda could not make these type of moves. So you may have felt a little bit increase in cost of living. However, now things are going to hit your pocketbook. The tariffs did. Now you're going to see it. If this continues, if this escalates, it will change your life. This is about control over energy and control over systems. And once those systems break, you don't just flip them back on. It takes a long time to recover, and if they ever do. So now the question is, what happens at 8 p.m.? Here are the realities. Escalation continues, wider conflict. Maybe a pause, but damage has already been done. Or maybe something unpredictable. And historically, it's rarely the clean option. Okay. The other thing is China has threatened Israel will no longer exist if it uses nukes. So we have the formings of World War III. The formings of World War III are there.
Master Green, what's backing?
There. And I want your take on it. We are hours away. Do you think this escalates, or do you think they pull this back? Because one thing is clear, we are not where we were yesterday.
Escalate.
Come back here.
Ceasefire.
Let's see who called it.
Drop some more bombs.
I appreciate you hanging out with me. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends, tell all your coworkers. Remember to stay frosty, stay strapped, stay dangerous. This is Black Scout Survival, and hope
Oh shit, here we go. Try to chop my audio down. Wait a minute. Down that bullshit. StreamYard has lost connection with the audio you're sharing. I bet.
Peace. Media runs it. Headlines start rolling in. Ceasefire in place. Tensions easing. Negotiations underway. Let
me get a sound check on the video. Let me get a sound check. Is it playing? Can you hear it?
Right after my video last night, and people were like, "Oh man, this video didn't age well." Actually, it did. It aged like wine. It turns out
you can hear me. On paper, no, it said it lost the audio to the source, the screen share audio.
It sounded like a win, a victory, until you actually look at what's on the paper and what's actually happening on the ground. Because almost immediately, Israel's still conducting strikes. Iran is still launching missiles. And now you got reports confirming that Israeli Air Force is still hitting targets while ballistic missiles are being fired in response. So let me ask you, what exactly stopped? Because this doesn't look like a ceasefire. It looks like a pause button that never actually got pressed. Now let's talk about the fracture point. This is where everything gets real interesting. Lebanon, that is the fault line. You've got one side saying Lebanon was included. The other side saying Lebanon was never part of the deal. Benjamin Netanyahu is saying the ceasefire does not include Hezbollah in Lebanon. Meanwhile, Iran and even the U.S., well, some of the U.S. is implying it does. Because as you can see here in this article here, 2-week ceasefire announced by President Trump an hour ago will also include Lebanon.
Hey, it's Ashley with 4 Patriots. We're in a bit of trouble. To put it plainly, we need to figure out some.
So Trump included, but I guess J.D. Vance did not get the memo because he came out stating it wasn't.
A lot of bad faith, propaganda going on. I think this comes from a legitimate misunderstanding. I think the Iranians thought that the ceasefire included Lebanon, and it just didn't. We never made that promise. We never indicated that was going to be the case. What we said is that the ceasefire would be focused on Iran, and the ceasefire would be focused on America's allies, both Israel and the Gulf Arab states. Now, that said, the Israelis...
So, J.D. Vance did not get the memo. But anyway, it means both sides essentially walked away from the table with completely different understandings of the deal. That's not just diplomacy. That is set up for escalation. Now, let's talk about what that workable proposal was. Donald Trump said it's workable. He said it was absolutely Trump calls Iran 10-point ceasefire conditions a workable basis. Okay. All right. Iran's so-called 10 points, I'll put them up here. They included things like lifting sanctions, control. They will have complete control of the Strait of Hormuz, continued enrichment capability, meaning they can still make nuclear weapons, removal of internal pressure, and obviously cessation of war on all fronts, including against the heroic Islamic resistance of Lebanon, payment and compensation to Iran, termination of UN Security Council resolutions, lifting all primary and secondary sanctions. So this was the workable deal that Trump said. He said, we can work with that. I thought, man, people died, right? Troops have died for this, okay? This is what really makes me upset. People have lost their lives for this nonsense, right? That is not a compromise. This was called leverage. If you're looking at this strategically, Iran is negotiating from a position where they're saying we control the escalation because they don't need to win militarily. They just need to make the cost unbearable, and that's what they're doing. The real weapon, this is the piece nobody in mainstream headlines is explaining properly. The Strait of Hormuz, roughly 20% of the world's oil flows through that choke point, and now we've got it shut down again. Threats to destroy ships, discussions about changing passage, right? And even talks of joint control scenarios. So not only did before ships could just flow through there freely, now Iran will be in control. So this war turned out to be a loss for Americans because now they have control of it and they're going to get paid essentially a toll coming through there. I'm not sure.
Nunya, is that a request? Is that a request? A song request?
Sure exactly what was being accomplished here. But things are not good. Iran closes the Strait of Hormuz in response to Israeli attack. But Karen Levitt says that it's open.
Media is saying that Iran has now closed off the Strait of Hormuz today in response to Israeli attacks on Lebanon. What's the White House response to that? You just listed many.
It is crazy. They got different people saying different shit, like they ain't communicating, like there's no lines of communication going on in these motherfuckers. What's wrong with these people?
Military successes, I understand that, but strategically, how is the administration arguing that Iran does not have more economic leverage than it did before the start of the war?
Sure. Well, with respect to the first reporting out of Iranian state media, the president was made aware of those reports before I came to the podium. That is completely unacceptable. And again, this is a case of what they're saying publicly is different privately. We have seen an uptick of traffic in the Strait today, and I will reiterate the president's expectation and demand that the Strait of Hormuz is reopened immediately, quickly, and safely. That is his expectation.
I don't really think he has a way to demand. They're in control. They're in control of this complete ordeal. They have complete power over this. This is making America look weak, soft, and essentially now they're pulling the strings. Okay. Iran threatens to destroy ships that pass through the Strait of Hormuz despite ceasefire pact. Yeah. Not sure where that's winning. Now, oil did drop today because of, or last night, early this morning because of this. But I'm sure it's going to rise back up now. What they're using is not military pressure, it's economic warfare on a global scale. Because if Hormuz locks up, you're not just talking about a regional conflict anymore. You're talking about oil spikes, supply chain disruption, inflation pressure, global market instability. This is how you hit the system without firing a single shot at the homeland. Russia came out and said that essentially it was Iran, Putin did. Essentially, it's just Iran victory, and that what's going to happen, this is going to lead to Chinese currency overtaking the petrodollar.
And they talk about
so this
instituting a toll, like a toll bridge or a toll booth. Yeah, we'll let you through. You just got to pay us $2 million. We'll let you through. Fuck you, pay me.
The deal that Trump has got us into could be way more catastrophic than any of us could imagine. And long-term effect, like life-changing, our whole lifestyle. It's all about perception, though, because perception matters more than reality in modern conflict. Right now, You've got Iran publicly framing a U.S. weakness. They are making many memes and videos online disrespecting Donald Trump in this. They've got him waving a white flag. They're doing the Lego stuff. It really is a bad look for America. It makes us look weak. And it's not a good look. I mean, if you look at his post, there will be no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender. After that, and the selection of a great acceptable leaders, we and many of our wonderful blah, blah, blah. But now he's saying peace in the Middle East. We received a 10-point proposal from Iran. I believe it's a workable basis. So we went from going out and saying that essentially unconditional surrender, but we'll peel it back. When you keep moving the yard line, you look weak. You do. Now, going back to Israel, I mean, they were bombing residential areas, apparently, of Lebanon, apartments and things. The United States has told Israel that it's committed to achieving these goals, shares by U.S., Israel, and Israel regional allies in the upcoming negotiations. The 2-week ceasefire does not include Lebanon. They told him, so who's in charge of this? It's not Donald Trump, it's Benjamin Netanyahu. He's the one that's truly in control of this whole situation. Pretty much mum's been the word from Donald Trump today. We've not heard anything from him. We've got media calling this a strategic loss. And again, it saddens me we lost troops to this. People lost their lives for this. Some mainstream outlets like Fox and such are trying to spin this as progress, right? The memes are talking about Trump threatened overwhelming force and Iran came back with demands and somehow that turned into a deal. That narrative, whether true or not, is spreading. And in geopolitical terms, that's called losing information warfare. And that's huge. Now, if we look at what the real question is, what are we looking at? There's a few possibilities. Option one, miscalculation, both sides misunderstood terms, deal collapsed fast. Option two, maybe controlled de-escalation. This is a temporary pause to buy time, reposition assets, and have a tactical reset. Or option three, strategic bait. One side used negotiations to lock the other side into optics, and then continued operations anyway. Option four, multi-front game. The ceasefire is real in one theater, but irrelevant in others, like Lebanon. And honestly, right now, it looks like it's a combination of all four, okay? And if we just go back at the rhetoric, March 7th, we defeat Iran. March 9th, we must attack Iran. These are Donald Trump's words. March 12th, we did win. March 12th, we haven't completely won yet, okay? March 14th, please help us, NATO. March 17th, we don't need or want NATO's help. March 21st, we don't need to open the strait because we don't get our oil from there. April 5th, open the effing strait. March 23, we had very good talks with Iran. April 7th, the whole civilization will die tonight. So it's like almost unhinged type information coming out from this. But again, Tehran is raining down missiles upon Tel Aviv and Israel remains at war with Iran. This was moments after the ceasefire. Okay. We look at this, we stand with our might alongside the Hezbollah Mujahideen, and we will punish the Zionist enemy. The responsibility for the collapse of the ceasefire lies with America, which is either does not want to or cannot leash this rabid dog. Violations of the ceasefire by America will also not be tolerated. Okay. This is the day at noon. So ceasefire happened? No, not really. Iran threatens to bomb Tel Aviv if firing does not stop in southern Lebanon. Doesn't look like a ceasefire to me. Okay. This isn't about one deal. This is about a shift. Proxy wars bleeding into direct confrontation, economic choke points becoming primary weapons, and narrative warfare shaping public perception faster than facts. And the dangerous part is when deals don't mean what both sides think they mean, things will spiral fast. We've seen that. Okay. Even Alex, ceasefire is not holding. This is a major strategic defeat for the U.S. We were induced into this by Israel, but it was the lesser of evil decisions that could be made. Alex Jones has been a champion for Donald Trump. So that's why I'm bringing him up quite a bit during this situation, is because of that, right? So, no, this isn't peace. This is Paul's layered over pressure wrapped in optics with missiles still flying underneath. And if you're watching this, thinking it's over, you're already behind. That's what got me so much about my content last night, is that people are like, oh, you don't know. You don't. I know, because it's pattern recognition, guys. It's pattern recognition. Donald Trump has been notorious as of late of saying things that aren't true. He said that the children that were killed, the 168 schoolgirls were killed, turned out to be us with a tomahawk. He said, I
American business. What's the business?
Iran did it. Iran doesn't have tomahawks. We do. So he said he has made a lot of statements that has turned out to be untrue. So I tend not to believe him this day.
I don't know what's wrong with his mind.
I think a lot of what he does is social media propaganda. He was a television guy.
Ex-military cat, maybe got fucked up in the military, something. I don't know.
He came from television. Ratings. He's great at marketing. He does things for ratings. He says things, people believe they're true. When you look at the ground, that's not really what's happening. The real question is that, did we get a ceasefire? Is who's using it and for what, right? So anyway, the other thing is that I've been, I try to be unbiased. I've been a little harsh on the MAGA crowd lately, because they've been very disrespectful people. They've turned into a very disrespectful group of people that lack critical thinking. You look at the patterns, they turn out a lot of things to be wrong, and they don't address the situation or try to debate what's actually happening. They'll throw personal attacks at you. I guess they learned that from Donald Trump, because that's what he does. When a news journalist asks him something he doesn't like, he starts attacking that individual. I guess that's where they learn it from. Even so much so, I've seen a lot of veterans turning against Trump, the MAGA movement, because it's not really America first, it's Trump first. And then they start attacking the veterans. Like, MAGA's pretty much turned completely on veterans, which is wild to me. It doesn't make sense. It's how you know you're in a cult or part of something, part of a propaganda machine. You fell for it. And so it's kind of like, the same thing with American-made products. Every time I come out, trying to support American small business, the MAGA crowd is the ones attacking. Oh, you're trying to rip us off. No, it just costs a lot of money to make things in America. It just does. I try to support other American small business, especially veteran-owned, as much as I can. We do try to make affordable items as well, because obviously it's a tough world out there right now with these tariff prices, the oil.
Cardinals.tv pitch.
The production, manufacturing costs with energy and so on. Everything's high as hell. I didn't vote for that, but they're defending it. So anyway, I try to make affordable products too. But anyway, today I wanted we dropped this product right here. If you paid attention to what we do in the Black Scout Doctrine, it's about being a capable man on all fronts. One of those things that I really like to enforce is edge weapon.
Okay, but I'm not interested in your knives and whatnot, sir. Okay, let's see. Do. Back to this. Well, hold on a second. Huh? Bear with me for a moment. Let me go ahead and play this for nothing, yeah. Yeah, I seen a report where France took a bunch of gold. They say they're taking their gold back like it was theirs from the jump or some shit. I call bullshit.
Just don't once. Hey. Whole block shake. Yeah, look up. Too late.
Interlude.
I'm Godzilla in the middle of the city. Better get back. Get back. Get back. Big steps, every little hater looking like a snake. Like a snake. Jaw wide, let it all fry. Turn them into ash. King of the fall line. Every time I snap, that's a new crack. I'm Godzilla when I breathe, that's a siren in the sky. Whole crowd freeze when they look into my eyes. You can build walls, I'ma treat them like glass. King of the fault line, every time I move, that's a world melt. Crawled out the trench, skin still drips out. Scars on my scales, whole life my fault now. Made for the quake and the chaos, heartbeat drum, make the ground break sounds. You play tough, I play tight. You chase clout, I chase lightning. You want throne, but your bones too light. I use stones like stones when I skip them in the night. Footprint, whole block outline. Name ring out like a landline. You talk big, but your frame bite size. I shoot out, spit flames in your timeline. Godzilla in the middle of the city, better get back. Get back. Get back. Big steps, every little hater looking like a snack. Like a snack. Like a snack. Jaw wide, let it all fry. Turn them into ash. King of the fall line. Every time I snap, that's a new crash. I'm Godzilla when I breathe, that's a siren in the sky. Whole crowd freeze when they look into my eyes. You can build walls, I'ma treat them like glass. King of the fault line. Every time I move, there's a world map. Yeah. You wanna roar like this? Gotta live through the deep like this. Gotta see for the teeth like this. Whole life in the beast like this. Storm in my chest, I'm a walking reactor. Every step right, a chapter. Waves in my wake, that's disaster. Still stand tall in the after that they drop bombs. I evolve on them. Turn scars into armor, then stomp on them. Whole seat part when I crawl from it. I don't run from the smoke, I draw from it. Who you call when the sky turn red? Name on the hills, carved in dread. But I learned to love that fear. Every scream my cheer, yeah, I built my bed. So I storm for the kids who would call too much. Too loud, too big, too rough. If they say you a monster, good. Go grow that tough. I'm Godzilla in the middle of the city. Better get back. Get back. Get back. Get back. Big steps, every little hater looking like a snack. Like a snack. Like a snack. Jaw wide, let it all fry. Turn them into ash. King of the fall line. Every time I snap, that's a new crash. Godzilla when I breathe, that's a siren in the sky. Whole crowd free I'ma treat them like glass. King of the fault line. Every time I move, that's a world mount.
All right, all right, all right. Where we at? Where was I at? Where was I at? Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. To the stage, to the stage, to the stage. Back to old Mikey. Hey, Mikey, Mikey. Yo, Mikey, Mikey. Hey, Mikey.
Mike Adams, the Health Ranger, for healthrangerstore.com. Well, since we are now facing the very real possibility of global nuclear war, and, you know, the nuclear codes are under the control of an insane person named Donald J. Trump, who has absolutely lost his mind. A lot of people are very interested in how to survive a nuclear war all of a sudden. I mean, rationally. How do you survive a nuclear war? Like, actually, not science fiction or Hollywood. What do you actually do if the nukes start going off in the Middle East? Does that instantly mean we all die? No, that's not what it means. How do you survive? Well, you know, what's the aftermath? So let me just walk through some of that for you here. So first of all, if the nuke doesn't hit you directly, if you're not within the blast radius and the thermal destruction zone, so that's step one, is realizing that you're not going to die instantly. If there's bombs that go off in the Middle East and you're in North America, you know, you're not going to die instantly, obviously. Then the question becomes the fallout. The fallout of the iodine-131 and the cesium-137 and the other radioisotopes of strontium and whatever else is produced. There's a lot of them. Some of them decay very rapidly within seconds or minutes. Others take much longer, but it depends on the wind patterns. So the predominant winds of the region, my understanding is that they tend to blow from north to south, maybe to the southwest. At least that's what I've read.
What?
I don't live there, so I'm not sure. But if they blow to the southwest, then if you nuke Iran, then all that radiation, or a lot of it's going to fall on the Gulf states. It's going to fall on UAE and Saudi Arabia, and Oman and Qatar, etc.
Oh, okay.
So nuking Iran would be a death sentence for the Gulf nations. More so than for Iran, because, you know, Iran is a very large country. And if nukes were used, they could not possibly blanket the entire country. And a lot of that radiation would just drift over the Persian Gulf and, you know, south into the Arabian Sea. And the Strait of Hormuz would be irradiated. You know, all those Arab nations would be irradiated. So the loss of life there and the rendering of those nations into uninhabitable zones, that would unleash a global energy collapse that would have far more dire consequences than the nukes themselves. So, for example, the semi-permanent loss of fertilizer production out of the region, which would affect potentially billions of people. So the very first takeaway from this podcast is that the nukes themselves won't kill nearly as many people as the after effects of the nukes. And even if you survive the nuclear weapons, which you would if you're living somewhere else, you would survive the detonations, you may not survive what happens next, which would be a global collapse of food and energy and governments and industry, etc. That's the big takeaway here. unless this goes into, dozens of nukes or hundreds of nukes, then in North America, you're not going to be dealing with crazy levels of fallout. I mean, yeah, there will be some amount of radiation that gets airborne, some amount of cesium-137, which has a half-life of about 30 years. And yeah, that's a factor, but it's not going to be enough to kill you outright from the radiation. And it's relatively easy to protect yourself against iodine-131, which has a half-life of about 1 week.
What was that reactor that melted down in Japan or Fukushima or some shit? Fukushima. Where'd that radiation fall out?
To do that, all you have to do is, take some iodine, saturate your thyroid. That will protect you, at least it will protect your thyroid from the iodine-131, although you can still get radiation, obviously, in other parts of your body from iodine-131, but it tends to concentrate in the thyroid. So you can protect your thyroid with supplementary potassium iodide, for example. And we actually sell that at our store. We sell the IOSAT brand that is FDA approved for this very purpose. So you can find that at healthrangerstore.com if you want, or you can take other sources of iodine that essentially have the same effect of protecting your thyroid. Just supplementary iodine.
That's always trying to sell something.
Cause and effect. But that's not going to be the thing that kills the most people. The thing that kills people is going to be the collapse aftermath that follows. So I've already mentioned it, food collapse, energy collapse, industrial collapse, the collapse of jobs, etc. When you lose the Middle East and you lose all of the byproducts of energy, including urea for fertilizer, including polymers and plastics and lubricants and sulfuric acid and helium, etc. When you lose all of those things on the world stage, then the world cannot sustain the current structure of civilization. It's a pipeline, I mean, you have to have certain supply chains that function in order to keep the current civilization alive with 8+ billion people. If the supply chains crater, then you can't feed 8 billion people. You can't employ 8 billion people. You can't provide energy for 8 billion people. And so you're going to begin to see very rapidly, if this thing goes nuclear, you're going to see die-offs, you're going to see civil unrest, you're going to see uprisings and much more all over the world. All right. So, I mean, that's a whole separate podcast, is surviving Mad Max, basically. You probably know the
I take nascent iodine.
answers to most of this. Yeah, you got to have stored food. You need to be away from the cities. You need to have a means of self-defense. You need to have a means of growing your own food and medicine and being self-reliant, etc. Have your own off-grid monetary systems, gold and silver, gold backs, maybe barter, things like that. You probably know all those answers already, so I'm not going to go into those details. Here's the bigger question. If nuclear weapons are used in the Middle East, will nuclear retaliation come to North America and Europe? Could London get nuked? And the answer is yes, absolutely. Could Washington, D.C. get nuked? Yes, clearly it would be targeted in a nuclear war. And as you know, Russia has more nuclear weapons than the United States. China has thousands of nuclear warheads. Pakistan has nukes. North Korea has nukes. India has nuclear weapons. And Turkey has possession of nukes that are actually US nukes or NATO nukes, but they're physically located in Turkey. And there are probably other nukes that we don't know about. I mean, obviously Israel has nukes. The thing is, if Israel goes insane and starts nuking Iran, there will be a response. There will be a response from Russia.
I don't know if Israel got nukes. And I think if Israel had nukes, they'd be shooting. They'd been a shot one of them. They'd been a blew them motherfucking people up. Honestly, it's my opinion.
For sure. Probably China. maybe Pakistan. It's hard to say, but there will be a nuclear response. So maybe that's what Israel wants, because it's run by an apocalyptic death cult at this point. So if they nuke Iran, then Israel gets nuked, obliterated. With even just one nuke would wipe out Israel as we know it and send all those Satanists back to hell. Now, I'm talking about the ones that are the leaders of Israel, because they're all Satanists. What would then be the next effect after that? Well, depending on who launched that nuke, then the U.S. might get involved and have another retaliation for Israel being nuked. So let's say if a nuclear weapon that detonates over Israel, let's say it was launched by a Russian submarine in the Arabian Sea, or maybe a Russian submarine in the Mediterranean for that matter, or in the Atlantic. All of these are possibilities. Would the United States then see that as an attack on its key ally, being Israel? And what would America's response be to that? That's a key question that could determine whether we live or die. If the U.S. decides that, well, we can't let Israel be nuked without a nuclear response, then the U.S. would have to decide, well, where do we attack in response to that? Because it may not be clear where the nuclear weapon even came from, actually. May not be clear at all. Especially if it's launched from sea, you don't necessarily know who launched it. Now, yeah, you can do analysis of the ratios of radioisotopes, and you can try to take a guess. Where did this weapon come from? But that doesn't tell you who launched it. Even if you know it's Russian nuclear fuel, it doesn't necessarily prove that Russia launched it. So you'd have to determine who to blame. So if the U.S. blames Russia, and if the U.S. decides to retaliate, then the question is, how would the U.S. retaliate? And the most likely answer would also be with boomer submarines. That is, nuclear capable submarines, because the U.S. has quite a few of those. And they're also closer to Russia than, of course, the continental United States. So there's less flight time and less reaction time from Russia. So then if the U.S. decides to launch nuclear weapons at Russia, then the question is, well, how many do you launch? And if the U.S. is going for a measured response, then perhaps if one nuke were launched by Russia against Tel Aviv, then the U.S. might decide to launch one nuke against Russia in response. But the minute Russia sees one incoming nuclear or potentially nuclear ballistic missile coming in, then we get into a rapid escalation where Russia would very clearly decide that, well, World War III is on, the nuclear weapons are starting to fly, and we need to launch everything. And so they would launch everything. Under this scenario, I mean, I can't read their minds. I don't know exactly how they would respond. But they might launch everything, which would mean that every major U.S. city would be targeted and destroyed. Every major U.S. city and every military base on every island, including Diego Garcia, etc. So that's how then easily 100 million Americans get vaporized within minutes. But seeing the incoming barrage of missiles from Russia, then U.S. military forces would undoubtedly say, well, gosh, we're under nuclear attack. We need to launch everything at everybody, but especially Russia. And so the U.S. would initiate its launches of ballistic missiles to attack and try to destroy Russia. And it's possible, again, I don't know for sure, but the U.S. might also just start targeting China too, because they figure China is an ally of Russia, and it's better to hit China's nuclear weapons silos first, preemptively, to prevent China from joining in the next wave of retaliation. So then you've got the U.S. launching whatever it is, 400 missiles or something at Russia and China. And then China sees all those missiles incoming, and China's like, well, we better launch everything. So you see where this goes very quickly, right? So that's how the world ends. It can start with one nuclear weapon,
hypotheticals,
and it can end up with over 1,000 nuclear detonations happening across the world, just destroying every U.S. city, destroying many cities in Russia and many cities in China as well. And at that point, then you get a nuclear winter. At that point, it doesn't matter if you live in South America or Africa or Papua New Guinea or the Philippines, wherever you live, even if you were not nuked, you're going to live through a Mad Max famine. Because at that point, you're going to have global cooling because of all the particulate matter in the atmosphere. Yes, there will be a lot of circulating radioisotopes that will become a danger everywhere. And on top of that, you're going to block out the sun, which will cause crop failures for at least 1 year, maybe a couple of years. And our world can't survive that, not at its current population. So the only way to survive that is to be able to grow food somehow without any fuel, grow off-grid, self-reliant fashion, grow most of your own food, grow enough superfoods to protect yourself from the ionizing radiation that you'll be subjected to. And maybe you've stockpiled some superfoods that could be useful, spirulina, for example, miso, soup mix, fermented soy. There are a number of supplements, there are a number of superfoods that can help support your body when you're suffering a lot of, exposure, let's say. But nothing's a magic bullet. Nothing's going to stop the radiation. And you're going to be subjected to some level of ionizing radiation no matter where you are on the planet. But the worst effects will be the collapse of civilization as we know it. The collapse of energy, the collapse of fuel, the collapse of farming, etc. In that scenario, just in the United States of America, I would estimate that 95% of the population will die. Because
Dr. Doolittle Centipede Whisperer is diabolical. Sheesh.
How many people do you know who can survive the collapse of all those things I just mentioned? Of food, farming, fuel, transportation, etc. They can't survive. Very few people can survive. Only the most knowledgeable, the most rugged, the most determined individuals will be able to make it through that. And that's, maybe 1 out of 20, maybe, probably a lot less. So the US population in that scenario would be reduced to what? Probably less than 10 million or something like that. And the world.
I did no such thing. I joked about it. I do not control the centipedes. I do not control the centipedes. Hey, why are you showing these Africans on the screen? What is that, Bob? What is that? Wheat? That don't look like corn. What you doing, Mike?
The world would be irradiated and toxic for centuries. And also there'd be a mass die-off all across Western Europe and all across the Middle East and all across China and Russia as well. Human populations would be sharply reduced to maybe half a billion people or less. Interestingly, you'd have more survival in places like Africa and low-tech countries. You'd have a lot more survival in Central and South America than you would in North America or Europe. So the global South would actually fare better than the West in this case, generally speaking, although there might be exceptions to that. So let's hope and pray that doesn't happen, because there's no easy answer to how to survive it. Basically, even if you do survive, you're going to be living in a collapsed society that you won't recognize. And the life that you once knew will no longer exist.
You're going to be living in the Book of Eli.
So,
Mad Max, welcome to the Thunderdome. Damn well the mannequins wouldn't have no clothes on them. Somebody snatching that shit. Them stores would be empty. Quit playing, Mike.
Your preparedness activities may not help you with that scenario. Just no matter how much you prepare, the whole world is nuked with hundreds or 1,000 nuclear weapons. There might not be that much that you can do. It depends on a lot of things. But that may not be the most likely outcome. There are a lot of other scenarios that are, I think, more likely, such as limited use of nuclear weapons. In those scenarios, you can absolutely survive it. And you need to be prepared. You need to have, pre-nuke food. And we're selling pre-nuke food right now at healthrangerstore.com. It's food that was harvested, for the most part, in 2025. Some of it.
Boy, every motherfucker, everything we talk about, it lead right back to his motherfucking store. Because we sell what you need right here, right now. Pre-nuke food. We got it, baby. We got it.
This year in 2026. But it's pre-nuke food. And whoever doesn't have pre-nuke food will have to eat, post-nuke food with Fallout. Fallout food. Fallout food will be.
We got the pre-nuke food. You don't want the post-nuke food. We got the pre-nuke food. Yeah, we got it for you.
Very cheap. Discounts, coupons. Hey, you want some Fallout food? Fallout food will be
you hit me with too many
incredibly
eggs.
scarce and valuable. An incredible barter item, especially if you can prove that it's not irradiated or emitting radiation. Because remember, if you grow food in the field where there's been cesium-137 fallout, the cesium-137 goes into the tissues of the crops. It mimics potassium in agriculture. And when that happens, then those crops, they emit radiation. And if you eat them, then you incorporate those molecules into your body, and then you emit radiation from the inside.
Then you turn an Incredible Hulk.
Kills you by destroying your genetic integrity. So, pre-fallout food will have a premium. Poor people will eat post-fallout food, and they will die very quickly. And sadly, that will be most people, because most people have not prepared at all for what's coming. So the bottom line is preparedness still makes a lot of sense here, but it won't save you from absolutely everything. It will save you from many scenarios, but not every single one.
Yeah,
and that's to be expected. You know, if these demonic entities that are currently running the U.S., I'm talking about Trump and Netanyahu and Israel and so on, if they have their way, they will destroy the world, and they will make it unsurvivable for human beings. And that's what they're trying to achieve. That's very clear. They're trying to do that. If they fail, then, you know, billions of us will survive this. So let's pray for that outcome. In the meantime, get prepared as best you can. You will need backup communications. Our sponsor, the Satellite Phone Store, offers those, of course. Sat123.com.
I knew that was coming.
You'll need backup power.
You gonna need communications. I got you there too. This boy's he's a slick boy, a marketing mastermind. Look, I'm gonna speak these hypotheticals, but then again, I'm gonna flip the script. Whatever you need, I got it.
You know, backup medicine, food, seeds, etc. And a lot of good fortune along the way, a lot of hard work, a lot of discipline, a lot of knowledge, etc. So stay informed and get ready for a true end of the world scenario, because that's what seems to be coming. You can follow more of my podcasts at brightvideos.com. You can read my articles at Natural News.
Yeah, Mike.
They want billions of humans going to survive that are available to you right now to get prepared, because the world is about to become a very, very dangerous place, and not everybody's going to survive by design. By design, they want billions of humans to not make it. Try not to be among those who die.
I can't deny the fact that they want to depopulate this bitch. We all know that. I'm still trying to ponder and figure out why they blew up them Georgia Guidestones that admitted they planned. Like, what y'all do that for? What up, brother Nasir? You want to get rid of why y'all want to get rid of your Georgia Guidestones? Why you want to blow that up before you make this move? What's the play there?
Unless you want to die. I mean, maybe you don't want to survive in the world that's been destroyed. There's going to be a lot of that, but I'm just assuming that you still want to survive even if everything's been destroyed. So if that's you, then, you know, get ready, because you're going to need it. All right, thanks for listening. I'm Mike Adams, the Health Ranger. Take care.
It said maintain the global population 500 million and lower. I think that's what it said. Yeah, 500 million, I think, some shit like that.
It's not the American people.
Yes.
It's this ruling
Oh shit, who is this?
class that's dominating us, that's filled with all of these unelected bureaucrats and ghoulish type figures that are driving this country and making it poorer, making it more violent, and then enacting that violence abroad. So when we overthrow countries, where do people go? They end up leaving and coming to Europe, they come to the US, and then we have a crisis of migration because we destroyed their countries or we sanctioned them into oblivion. This is the cycle, and we want to break this cycle.
Welcome to today's interview here on brightvideos.com, as we are standing on the edge of the abyss as beings on planet Earth, with Trump issuing these insane, deranged threats to destroy an entire civilization, in this case, the Persian civilization that is far older than the United States of America, by the way. That needs to be pointed out. And I'm joined today by a first-time guest, someone who I think can bring a lot of common sense to this and excellent analysis, and but a voice that, I mean, I've never spoken to our guest until just now. And it's Chris Halali, and he's the co-founder, the co-editor of DD Geopolitics, which is a very popular channel on X. And also he's got his own show on YouTube. Welcome, Mr. Halali. Thank you for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you very much for having me, sir. It's a pleasure to be on.
It's great to have you on, and I'm so glad that we can have this important conversation. Let me just set a little bit of context, and I'll ask you to introduce yourself to our audience. Now, the urgency of what's happening in our world right now brings together people who might come from different political persuasions or backgrounds or leanings, and that's totally fine. What we have in common, I think, and pardon my language, is that we all don't want to fucking die in a global nuclear. Again, pardon my language, I don't normally do that, but this is where we are. So give us a little bit of your background and your channel for our audience, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. So I'm an Iranian American. My father's from Iran and my mom's from Greece. And I was born in...
Whoa, buddy. Whoa, buddy. Whoa, buddy. Hold on. Let me get to this. Hold on. Let me get to this. Tell you, it was 500 million. What's the global population estimates? 8 billion? 8, 9 billion. So go ahead, subtract 500 million from 8 billion. Let's just say 8 billion. How many people that you got to get rid of? I'm just saying. I'll be saying what I'm saying. When I talk about something, I know about it. If you talk about some shit you don't know about, you just sound like an idiot. Now, nobody wants to sound like, well, I can't say nobody wants to sound like, because there's a lot of people that sound like idiots. If I don't know this shit, I ain't gonna talk about it. That's why they got rid of them motherfuckers. I got a pretty good memory. Now, what is this Iranian? Look. Oh, he was born in the USA. This ought to be interesting.
The USA, I graduated from US universities, did my graduate work in the US as well as in China and Greece. I was a commissioned US Army officer, commissioned as 11 Alpha as an infantry officer, and resigned my commission as a chaplain candidate, disagreeing heavily with the...
Hey, that's cold right there. Earth will reach his filthy body and spit him out. Jeez. Okay, wait a minute. Let me run this back a little bit.
US Army officer from Greece. I'm an Iranian.
This is where we are. We'll go from there.
What do you say?
A little bit of your background and your channel for our audience, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. So I'm an Iranian American. My father's from Iran and my mom's from Greece. And I was born in the USA. I graduated from US universities, did my graduate work in the US as well as in China and Greece. I was a commission.
Whoa. You did what?
US universities, did my graduate work in the US as well as in China and Greece. I was a commissioned US Army officer, commissioned as 11 Alpha as an infantry officer, and resigned my commission as a chaplain candidate, disagreeing heavily with the US foreign.
So you was born here, indoctrinated, and from here to China, and what? You don't like America? Strange.
Policy under the Obama administration. Left in 2015 and 2016. I ended up working with refugees coming out of Syria, and in 2017, I fought in Syria against the Islamic State alongside Kurdish forces, as well as I coordinated with Russian forces, with Wagner and the Syrian Arab Army, which is Bashar al-Assad's military. So I fought in Syria. I came back to the US, did more graduate work. And then since that time, I was elected high bailiff. I ran for Congress. I didn't get into Congress, but I was one of the first communists to run in two plus decades.
He ran for Congress. First to run as a communist. What the fuck?
3 decades or so. Was elected just this past election as a high bailiff of Orange County, Vermont. And now I'm doing journalism and war correspondent work. I'm here in Moscow now. I've spent a lot of time on the front of the special military operation against Ukraine. I went and traveled to Yemen.
So you helping Russia against Ukraine? confused.
To Sanat and was there when the Americans were bombing there, Lebanon, all throughout Iraq. So I've traveled, I've been to over 100 countries, did a lot of work abroad. So my primary work now is journalism. I also do diplomatic and legal consulting, as well as, really pushing for some common sense in my political activism, trying to push for some common sense foreign policy for the United States and to really bring us back from the edge of the abyss here, as you rightfully pointed out.
Well, that is an extraordinary background, sir. I have to say, that's you've done a lot. You've traveled a lot. You are clearly multilingual as well, and I think you have a very important view of what's happening with the world. Again, even though we come from different political backgrounds, you mentioned communists. My audience is mostly, well, they used to be. Many of them were conservative, I think, but most of them despise Trump at this point. So they're more sort of Ron Paul libertarian kind of people, and a lot of independent thinkers. That's really my audience is not, they're not tribal. They don't worship men. They have principles. Right. So that's where they come from. But tell us, in your view now, again, DD Geopolitics is a channel that's really blowing up in terms of popularity all over X. What is the aim of DD Geopolitics, and what is the main thrust of your work and your posts right now?
Well, speaking of the Ron Paul sort of like libertarian audience, I mean, I had Ron Paul on my show. I have a very good relationship with him, with many others in that realm. Scott Horton, you name it. McAdams. We have a whole crew of people, and actually, I find myself agreeing on most things. We might not agree about economic issues, but we can certainly agree, for example, on foreign policy, anti-imperialism, and a lot of these issues that are dominating our time. We're against wars. We're against, 1,000+ foreign military bases. We're against regime change. We really are, in many ways, I can agree with probably most of your audience on most of the issues. I also believe that states should have strong borders. It's necessary. I believe that there should be processes for people to travel from country to country. These are all normal things. China has it, Russia has it, every country has it that I travel to. So that's nothing, outside of the bounds. But what we are, focused on, what DD Geopolitics is committed to, is bringing an anti-imperialist and resistance voice to especially the global majority, the global South, about the U.S. crimes, U.S. regime change wars and endless wars. And really what we end up calling it's the Epstein class. It's not American people. And a lot of people that I interact with, they know that. It's not the American people.
Yes.
It's this ruling class that's dominating us, that's filled with all of these unelected bureaucrats and ghoulish type figures that are driving this country and making it poorer, making it more violent, and then enacting that violence abroad. So when we overthrow countries, where do people go? They end up leaving and coming to Europe, they come to the US, and then we have a crisis of migration because we destroyed their countries or we sanctioned them into oblivion.
Oh, really? That will happen with you, huh? That will happen with you, buddy? That how you got here? Now you got a problem with it? This is a vicious cycle. A real vicious cycle.
This is the cycle, and we want to break this cycle.
Oh shit! Yeah, you in the same cycle, fuckhead. You tart. What was the name of his site? GG something. What was that shit?
We want to have an America that is part of a multipolar world, that is a partner for peace and prosperity, not a partner for violence and endless chaos.
Well, we absolutely agree with you. And I've said many times that I want to trade with the world. I want to trade knowledge and goods and services and technology. I don't want to coerce the world or bomb people into compliance with our demands as the American empire. And let me just share with you a little bit of my background. I mean, I was given a Freedom Award by the United States Congress. I've been invited to meet Trump twice now, and I've turned it down both times because I don't agree with his ethics and values. I am pro-America, but the original vision of America, which was not imperialistic, we weren't into colonizing and bombing and coercing and punishing other nations, and certainly not into...
Whoa, Mike. Whoa, Mike. You weren't? How you get to where you at right now, sir? The total disregard of history. Oh, these motherfuckers was diabolical. Y'all not in the what? Y'all very existence.
genocide, supporting genocide, and ending entire civilizations, which is what Trump is promising right now. That's why I have openly called repeatedly all day today, impeach Trump. I texted my congressman, impeach Trump, 25th Amendment. And I'm not alone, right? I'm not alone. There are 24 or 25 members of Congress calling for that today. Have you kept track of that?
I saw Ro Khanna, I saw many others who've come out and spoken about this as well. Both congressmen as well as some senators who've also spoken out. I don't know the exact number because it's changing. I think minute by minute, we're getting new information. People are coming out. But certainly, I agree with you. Trump is a different man than he was before. And I actually had some common points of agreement with Trump.
So here we have a birthright citizen. First generation born in this motherfucker. Communist. Ran for Congress, did all this indoctrination in these schools from here to China. Embedded in the military. Went in the military. Well, he's some kind of level, whatever the hell he said he was. All these different places where all these conflicts popping off. Now he over here back. I don't even know if he back over here, but he yelling impeachment and all this other shit. What kind of crazy shit going on?
He had come into office saying no more endless war.
T-Dub, what's facking? What up, dog?
There's no regime change wars. We're going to stop the war in Ukraine. We're going to stop this. We're going to stop that. I was very supportive of that. I want peace. I want a prosperous America. But this that we're getting right now, we are now in the 8th conflict that the Trump.
Explain to me how you want peace, but you in every region of conflict, motherfucker. He done hopped around every area and every spot where there's conflict. Come on, I want peace. You a lie.
Administration has unleashed in less than 2 years. What are we doing? What good does this do? I just don't understand it. So I'm with you. At this point, it's clear the 25th Amendment needs to be invoked and Trump needs to be removed. And there needs to be some sanity because right now we're getting mixed messages by minute. It seems to go with the stock market. It goes with the price of oil. Nobody knows what's going on. Is Netanyahu dictating American foreign policy? Who knows what's going on? And I think it's very concerning for American voters and taxpayers.
Well, absolutely. And I'd like to get your reaction to this because I did a special podcast on the destruction of the industrial city of.
You say he the Inspector Gadget notes and shit. This message was self-destruct. Well, no.
Al Jubail, which is being bombed in retaliation. Of course, that's in Saudi Arabia. It's being bombed in retaliation for the aggression against Iran's energy infrastructure by Israel and the United States. But this Al Jubail facility, which is 1,000 square kilometers, it produces something like 6 or 7% of the hydrocarbon-based feedstock products, including for lubricants and plastics and so on.
That's YouTube channel, Chris Halali. Let me find this on X real quick. How the hell you spell that shit? Hold on. H-E-L, okay. H-E-L. Pardon me, I'm digging real quick. Oh, that's his YouTube channel. Hold on. All right. Christopher.
That affect the entire world. And yet here I am in Texas and I'm surrounded by people in America who think that this war will just stay over there, that it won't impact us. And they don't understand supply chains. They don't understand industry. They don't understand chemistry or where the role of naphtha, for example, the role of sulfuric acid, the role of helium. Can you please explain the importance of what I'm talking about here, the destruction of the infrastructure that powers modern human civilization?
Oh, you're absolutely right. In fact, it's not even, for example, on the petrochemical side, it's not only industrial products in the sense of heavy industries, capital goods. We're talking about agriculture, fertilizers.
Yes.
There's already a decrease of fertilizers on the market now, and we're getting into spring and growing season now. Farmers across the world are basically trying to rush for supplies. Russia has put a ban on exports of those things. China is also trying to control their fertilizers and to make sure that their farmers are protected. I mean, we really are about to have a man-made famine in some parts of the world because of this. So you have, exactly as you said, helium, which is necessary for industrial goods, for scientific exploration, for technological advancements. We're seeing a variety of byproducts of petroleum. It's not only the gas and the diesel and the aviation fuel, for example. It's many more things that come from that, from those hydrocarbons that are extracted, especially in the Arabian Peninsula or in the Persian Gulf region. So when you add that together, you take away 10, 20% of that. You take away even 5 or 10%, even a smaller amount. You're going to affect supply chains. You're going to affect people in different parts of the world. And what does that mean? Let's translate this. Farmers don't have enough. There's not enough food. Then there's riots and protests and coup d'etats and civil wars. And what ends up happening? You drive conflict. People end up fleeing countries. Then they go into other countries that then destabilize those countries. And it becomes this domino effect until you have a mass militarization across some regions. And we've seen that, by the way. We've seen that over the past decade plus. So this is a very destructive path that we're on, not only for there. Okay, you're exactly right. People in the US are saying, oh, we don't have to worry about it. It's over there. When it starts to affect supply chains and it starts to affect what you get at Walmart and what you get at the big lots and things like that, that's where it becomes an impact. It's not only at the gas pump, it's in all of the supply chain, including food at your local supermarket. When you're going to go, a lot of that comes from Latin America or from abroad. How do you think they get their fertilizers? How do you think that they, are able to transport it? All of that, all those costs are included in this war that's happening in the Middle East. That will have a knock-on effect. And I think that we're going to see the possibility of a global recession. If what happens in the next 24 to 48 hours is as catastrophic as as I'm thinking it might be, if they end up crossing that Rubicon, we could see a mass global recession. We could see significant damage to many countries. And just imagine that domino series coming down. I'm really worried. I'm really worried. I have kids. I don't know if you have kids, but I'm really worried for their future. They're dragging everybody down. They're pulling the temple down upon everybody's heads. And we didn't ask for this. In fact, we asked for the opposite of this.
Yes,
and that's the real problem.
Well, and you use the term global recession, and I know you're choosing your words carefully, but I would argue that that's a very mild interpretation of what could be unleashed. And we already have early indications. For example, in South Korea, many companies have already declared force majeure on their chemical output because of a lack of natural gas. We've seen with Qatar Energy, 2 of the 14 LNG trains have already been destroyed with a 3 to 5 year repair time, according to Qatar Energy's official announcement. If the other 12 trains are destroyed, then the world as we know it does not function for 10 to 15 years. And that's assuming they can even rebuild it, because if Iran hammers the desalination plants and hammers the energy infrastructure in retaliation, then nobody can live in Qatar, Bahrain, Oman, UAE. I mean, the area becomes uninhabitable. And then that leads to what you just said, mass human migration to Turkey, to Europe, to India, to wherever, so they don't die. I mean, this is a disruption that we've never seen in our lifetimes or in history.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And think about the political consequences of that. Think about the consequences in a whole variety of countries that are already experiencing their own issues, right, domestically. When we saw, for example, millions of Syrians leaving Syria, they went to Turkey and then they crossed over into Europe. Think about all of the knock-on effects that had for Europe as well. That's still reeling from that today. We have the election this weekend of Viktor Orban in Hungary, the re-election. All of these things factor into all of these political campaigns, to all of these domestic policies within some of these European countries. And these this tension that's created is creating the conditions for, I think, even further eruptions of violence. I'm really at a loss of words here as to why we have embarked on this path. I mean, I think that you and I clearly understand some of the background as to what got us here, but this is really very, very dangerous. If we don't stop this from escalating even further, we could see the effects that will last a century or longer. We haven't seen this kind of warfare since the Middle Ages, really. This kind of like long durée type warfare.
Well, part of what's powering this, and I'd love your response to this, is there's a psyop of cultural hatred that's being taught to the American people to hate all Iranians, to hate all Russians. And I'm not talking about just casual hatred. I mean, even Trump mentioned it's okay to bomb their bridges and power plants because they're animals, he said.
Man, if you cut all that shit off his face, it'll look like your second cousin, Mike. For bullshit.
This is kind of like the way Israel refers to Palestinians as the Amalek, and it's really the Israelification of the Trump administration, which is considering everybody that they want to kill to be subhumans. And I am highly offended by this as not just an American, but as a member of humanity. We cannot function with this level of intense hatred towards fellow human beings just because we want to steal their oil, which is the common thread between Iran and Russia from America's point of view. We want to rape and pillage other countries, so we make up excuses to do it. What are your thoughts on this intense hatred that's being taught to the American people?
I absolutely agree with you 100% that this is the Israelification of U.S. foreign policy and even domestic policy. I mean, a lot of this sort of hatred, not only for Iranians, for Russians, but also the...
Hey, that same Mama Earth will wipe this bitch clean.
Culture war stuff seems to me absolutely out of the CIA playbook. The strategy of tension, the sort of creation of enemy from within. We saw this in the years of lead in Italy. We saw this in other parts where the CIA was deeply involved. We see it in Ukraine from 2014 onwards, and even a little bit prior to that, with the US actively supporting Azov and Pravi sector and these groups, these neo-Nazi groups that went out there to try to destroy and kill Russians and destroy their heritage and their language and their Orthodox Church. I mean, when you factor all of this, this is absolutely part of that deep state playbook. And what that ends up doing is it ends up really only supporting and buttressing the power of the elite against the common people, because I have a lot in common with my neighbor, even though they might be a different religion or ethnic makeup or a different language. I have a lot more in common if they're working class than I do with anybody on Wall Street, than I do with anybody who went to an Ivy League frat and ended up getting a nice cushy job because of their last name or their tradition, whatever it might be. And they got to Wall Street or they got to Washington and they became an unelected bureaucrat. I have a lot more in common with somebody who's an immigrant than one of those people. And I think people have to understand that. The American experience, and I was an American history professor, the American history, the experience.
Yes, you have more in common with an immigrant. You are an immigrant, fucker.
In the early 20th century, when people were coming over from Italy, from Ireland, from all parts of Europe, from Eastern Europe, and they came over and they started to organize in unions, and they started to say, look, this situation is unacceptable. We remember the robber barons, the progressive era, the Gilded Age. You had the Carnegies, the Rockefellers. I look at that part of history and I say everybody got together, even they had different languages, different cultures. Some were from Sweden, some were from France, from Italy, wherever. And they got together and they said, look, these guys up above, they're stealing everything from us. We deserve something. And that helped to pave the way for what eventually became, especially after the post-World War II era, the American dream. Now we're living the American nightmare because everybody's being put against one another and we don't have an opportunity to advance,
How can this man believe in the American dream and he's an active communist? Like, I don't get it, player. You ain't making no sense.
Our kids are going to be saddled with debt, not only government debt, their personal debt. Everybody is suffering here, economically speaking, because we're investing everything in the military-industrial complex and sending it abroad. Why do all these countries need billions of dollars of hard-earned American taxpayer money? So add all that together, and now we have to make Russia the enemy, China the enemy, Iran the enemy. Why do we need so many enemies? In fact, I live now in Moscow. People love Americans. They say, we love America. We wish we...
He live in Moscow. No shit. Oh, hell no.
We could be friends. Why are we not friends? And I keep on trying to tell them, Americans have no problem with ordinary Russian people. It's created from above. It's pushed from above. And that kind of inculcating of this hatred is done so that these guys can run away with billions and trillions of dollars on endless war, on their military arms, on stealing supplies and resources from other countries. But it doesn't help the common people. The common people want to be together. Well, that's why, if we look at it in that perspective, clearly we can understand where this is coming from.
Okay, that's a really great description. And let me dig a little bit deeper into that and ask for your answer to this. You mentioned you were an American history professor at one point. And so see if this tracks with you, and it's okay.
Damn, I missed that part. He was teaching American history. He was an American history professor. Oh, you can't make this shit up. This is crazy.
To disagree with me, you're the guest. You can disagree if you wish, no problem. But I think that
where was he teaching American history? In Moscow? In China? Fuck you doing, dude?
After the post-World War II era, when America was very strong.
Mike, you running out of people to talk to, ain't you? Bring me on your show.
Strongly in an abundance phase. We were, our culture was one of hard work, of discipline, of innovation, and trade. At that.
No, he not Russian. He Iranian. He just live in Moscow. His father is Iranian. He said his mother was from Greece. He was born in the U.S. He been in the military. It was some kind of level. He made it to some kind of level that he was. This shit is crazy. Roger Dove saying Zohan.
At time, we wanted to be friends with everybody in the world because we wanted the world to buy our stuff. We were exporters, right? So we wanted lots of friends. And by the way, my grandparents lived in a tent, getting a job with a manufacturing company, and you were provided a tent on a plot, and you were given a salary. And they lived through, the Great Depression, lived in a tent, but they were hard workers, and they were able to pick themselves up from that and become very successful. So, my ancestry has lived that American dream. But now something has happened that's very toxic to our culture, which has become a culture of complacency, and one where we expect to be given everything for free, where we can just print money anytime we want, and we can trade that debt for other countries' products and services. And then after we offshored so much of the manufacturing, then it became an issue of, well, we don't make stuff in America. Now we have to take it from someone else. Then we have to declare everybody else to be an enemy so we can take their oil, Venezuela, or Iran, or we can take their goods, or we can tariff them. We can economically sanction them, as Trump has done in a weaponized fashion since almost day one. Does that make sense to you? Is that what I just described? Is that tracking, or would you disagree with that?
No, certainly. I think parts of that are correct. I would go a little bit deeper and try to go to the root of that. For example, the offshoring, the destruction of America's industrial base was done with the pure sort of free market capitalist and monopolistic tendencies of the big manufacturers. For example, why pay an American worker a great union wage? For example, I think.
Is that Mr. Doubtfire?
Think of, Bethlehem Steel, and I had, family members, from my ex-wife's family who were workers, steel workers, and people who were very much involved in that process. And they were very close with political leaders. That was one of the big, the steel making, especially in that whole corridor, was a huge part of America's, strength. And then slowly, why do you need that if you can liquidate it? You can offshore it. You can pay somebody a fraction of that amount. Then you can get it cheaper, and you end up selling it. And that whole process, that whole supply chain, then you knock out the American worker. You send it abroad to East Asia, for example. You're able to get it cheaper. Then you're able to really push a consumer economy on the Americans. So that way they then sort of transition from industrial.
You're open communist. You don't give a shit about anything you're saying right now about any of that. You don't even fucking reach through this screen and slap the shit out of him. Slap that beard off his face. His nose already crooked. Somebody done popped you in your shit already.
Industrial production, in industrial economy to a consumer economy, and then you need to continue to have cheaper and cheaper products because people's wages are not growing as fast as they should be. And so you end up eventually having this Walmartification, or McDonaldization, as people would call it in the academic sphere, of the society, to where products get cheaper and more inferior. And I want people to think about this because I had a farm in the US for 8 years. Farming products back in the day, old John Deere's, old, Massey Ferguson, you name it, all the old tractors, those things are still running from 1930s, 1940s.
I own some of those, by the way. I have John Deere's from the 1970s.
So that the quality of the production was amazing. Why? Because it wasn't planned obsolescence. They really wanted to invest in good products that lasted, because the end goal, okay, yes, it's good to make a profit, but there's also a social good and a social element that comes with that. Now, for example, farmers are persecuted for fixing and repairing their John Deere's, which are much more plastic and electronic based now. And now people are actually getting arrested and getting fined for doing that kind of stuff. So I just want to say that we've lost a lot of that heritage. Yes, sure, part of the American spirit was pick yourself up by the bootstrap, work hard, you'll succeed, kind of that frontier mentality. But all of that has gone.
This weed shit. You ain't have no farming heritage here. Y'all stole it. And you wonder why it's falling apart. I'm trying not to get triggered. Like, share, subscribe, and get triggered.
By the wayside when you create an economy that's consumer based and you want everyone to consume faster and quicker and spend more money and go into more debt by taking out debt. Whereas before, our grandparents, when they came to this country, they needed only a little bit. They had the best products that they could buy, and they didn't have to.
You talking about Mike business? Mike got a farm in Texas, I think. Yeah, he in Texas. This dude have been all over the damn map and every conflict zone, doing God knows what.
Replace them every year. Now you replace products yearly or biannually, and it's just horrible. And the waste, but that's how the entire system has adjusted that way. And that system adjustment has also had an impact on our lives as well, on our personal lives. You see the quality of housing going down, the quality of insulation going down, the quality of building materials going down, because that race to the bottom, which is a tendency of the free market, but in the most extreme sense, that race to the bottom has led us to this point where everything is inferior, everything breaks. And if you want to buy something really good, it's very niche and very, very expensive. And I'm sure your listeners understand what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah, absolutely correct. I just want to remind our audience that you have a channel on YouTube called The Chris Halali Show. I'm showing the screen right here. In addition to your work with DD Geopolitics, which is very popular on X. And please stand by, Chris, because we're going to do this interview in 2 parts. This is the end of part 1. I just want to encourage our audience to check out part 2 at brightvideos.com. And be sure to visit Chris's channel and website and follow him or his organization on X at DD Geopolitics for a lot more of this. So thank you for watching part 1 here today. I'm Mike Adams with
Mike. You advocating for people to follow a communist? Oh boy, you slipping, player. You slipping. I'll be damned. Stay out the tunnels. The deed stealers. Ooh. Did I share that before or something? Or you shared it with me? What is it? What's the deed? I know it's probably in the archive somewhere. Look at it. 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 Look. Academic researcher, investigative journalist, co-host on DD Geopolitics. He got a Linktree, X account, Telegram, Instagram, TikTok, Patreon, and diabolical. Look at his X account. Look at this shit. Let me scroll a little bit. Turn. Ceasefire lies, broken deals, endless bombs. What's he talking about, sir? Three Pakistani Air Force C-130H military transport planes are currently en route to King Air Base in Saudi Arabia. You can pronounce that if you want to. King Okay, I'm dig into his shit because I like to get out of the U.S. information because all these motherfuckers controlled though. Oh shit! Alex Jones is hosting Thursday Live. Netanyahu vows to continue war. Good grief.
Well, way out west, southwest, down in Texas, there's this fella I want to tell you about. Fella by the name of Alex Jones. At least that was the handle his freaking parents gave him, and he made pretty good use of it himself. This Alex Jones, well, he's a straight shooter. He calls himself an info warrior, a globalist killer, even a goblin slayer. He's a truth bomber, dropping nukes of knowledge across radio waves.
The hell did I just click on? What the fuck is this shit? I'm done.
Television sets and all over the worldwide.
Fast forward this shit. Oh, it's live.
Old honest Abe Lincoln. That's Alex Jones.
This is reality. Truth is stranger than fiction.
There's a lot about the man that didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Not until I tuned into InfoWars, that is. Then things started to become clear.
Are you gonna find these guys, or you have any promising leads?
Leads? Yeah, sure. I'll just check with the boys down at the crime lab. They got 4 more detectives working on the case. They got us working in shifts.
What the fuck? Hey yo,
leads.
Now, this story that's about to unfold, well, it started back just about the time the Twin Towers of Building 7 collapsed.
It was almost as if it were a planned implosion. It just pancaked.
I only mention it because
it was.
Sometimes there's a man. I won't say hero because what's a hero? But sometimes there's a...
Shut up. Reuters reports that the United States has now deployed more than 50,000 troops across the Middle East, with numbers continuing to surge. Thousands of Marines are being rapidly transferred from San Diego straight to the region. All right. What could possibly go wrong? All right. So you see on the crowd. Perfectly healthy baby was given them meningitis. I guess that's meningitis vaccine. And this is what happened. Bobby's parents said, "My 4-month-old son was perfectly fine before he had his second lot of shots back in July 2016. You should feel like some idiots for doing that to your child." Oh, that's fucking terrible. A Florida school bus driver has been arrested and charged with 28 counts of felony child endangerment after she allegedly said she was not stopping for no train, resulting in the end of the bus full of students being clipped at a railroad crossing. Oh no. Barely got out. Barely got out. Okay. And what you need to do is go ahead and get it. Where the mamas at? Put her in the room with all the mamas and those children that was on the bus. And let them do what they gonna do. You feel me? That is crazy, you dumb bitch. Boy, oh boy. I don't even know. I couldn't contain myself. God, it couldn't have been my son, but no. Oh yeah, I saw the dude set the fire to the yeah, I got that. Hold on, I got that somewhere. Hold on. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, here we go. Canada, right? Let's see, hold on. Pause that. A pissed off employee started a massive fire in a warehouse after complaining about low pay. All you had to do was pay us enough to fucking live. There goes your inventory. This is diabolical. This dude. Yeah.
Should have paid us enough to fucking live. You know, we may not get paid enough to fucking live, but these bitches dirt cheap.
Hey?
All you had to do was pay us enough to live. All you had to do was pay us enough to fucking live. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. There goes your inventory.
You gonna fuck everybody else over. You gonna fuck everybody else over because you ignorant bastard. You just an ignorant bastard. Ignorant bastard. Thought it was a toilet paper shortage before. Let me go to the comment section. That's where I be going. This where the good shit at. Hold on. What we got?
You guys just didn't really think everything through. You guys just didn't.
Oh snap! Ain't nothing yet. Look. Oh, that's an inside joke. I'm sorry, y'all. Inside joke. Oh, let me stop. The comment section is relentless. No TP for your bunghole. Damn. Now how much of that? Brati tati toilet paper. This nigga talking about. What you talking about, player?
I keep telling y'all, you're going to wind up getting your ass locked up for saying something that you're not supposed to be saying in these DMs on these social media apps. AI will tell on you. A teacher got pulled out of her classroom and arrested for a message that she sent on Snapchat. You heard what I just said? This teacher sent a message to her roommate, and AI felt the message was...
It's a definite backdraft.
something that the FBI needed to hear, and guess what happened? Just what I said. The FBI came and locked her ass up. This teacher was teaching her class, doing a lesson. One of her students shut off her laptop while she was in the middle of the lesson, ruining her lesson plan. Of course, that probably made her mad. She texted her friend via Snapchat, and she said to her friend, "My student deleted my lesson plan for the day. Should I shoot him or not?" You can see how anybody would take that, right? Mind you, that was in privacy. That was in her messages on Snapchat. But AI read that. AI sent that directly to the FBI, and they came and handcuffed her and locked her up. And you could say she shouldn't have sent that message. And she shouldn't have sent that message. Of course, she should have known the seriousness of that. But her thinking that that's in the privacy of her chat, she sent it. She probably wouldn't have even harmed that student. But AI didn't think so, and she got arrested. But I'm betting you don't believe me, right?
That's a little bit of that Palantir and Oracle shit.
Look at this
at work.
Shit.
Hi, I'm Deputy Sean with the Sheriff's Office. Do you happen to have your phone on you?
I do, yeah.
Okay, do you want to hand that to me, please?
Yes.
Okay, reason we're here is, have you been on Snapchat earlier today?
Yes, I was, yeah.
Okay, and so we got a call about a snap. So did you happen to make one today?
I did, yeah.
The kids make you mad today?
No.
Nothing about your computer or anything like that?
I had a lesson plan and one of the kids turned off my computer on my lesson plan. I was like, oh, dang, but I never get mad with the kids ever.
What did you snap after that? Did you set up?
No. What? I'm so confused.
So what I want to show you is the snap we received.
Oh, yes. But, okay, yes. This is a joke, though, but yes.
I'm going to leave you on that note. I'm out.
Oh, snap. Literally, snap. What the fuck?
That's a human.
Okay. 3 times. It's so mind blowing. This is a microprocessor. How do humans make this? How as human beings do we even come close to making something like this? This is a recreation of a microprocessor under a microscope, and it keeps zooming in. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look-ski. Let's take a look-ski.
How did humans make this, right? This is a microprocessor. That's a human hair, the width of a human hair. Look how deep this goes. How, as human beings, have we been even able to come close to making something like this? You think, oh, that's amazing. Like, he's gone in quite far there. It just keeps going and going. Look how far this goes. How did we make this? Like, what process did it blows my mind. It just keeps on going. Look at that. And then the zoom out. And like that was all just right in there. And that's the human hair. How did humans make this, right? This is a microprocessor. That's a human.
Interesting. Oh, what is one little story here? What is nurse? She had a question. She had a pretty valid question. Where's she? Uh-oh.
I'm probably about to get canceled for this, and some of you are going to be mad, but I actually don't care at all. But it's like, it shows that some people in our generation did not grow up with the parents that said the red birds go with the red birds and the blue birds go with the blue birds. It shows, because why are we mixing races? Like, you guys, like, whatever. You know, like, that might be racist to say, but why do we mix races? Why are we not just keeping the white people with the white people, keeping the black people with the black people, keeping the Hispanics with the Hispanic? Why are we fucking mixing races? Did y'all not grow up with a family that was like, hey, like, just letting you know, boys go with girls and girls go with boys. Red birds go with red birds and blue birds go with blue birds. Like, what the fuck? I'm telling you, this world went to shit when we thought it was okay to, like, be mixing all these crazy races. What are we fucking doing? Like, let's just keep it simple.
She almost translucent.
You know, let's just keep it simple. Stop changing your gender. That's a little fake and gay, as Candace would say. Stop changing your gender.
Did you just quote Candace? Hey, girl, Candace got mixed children. You stupid bitch. How you gonna use them? She gonna use the words of a female that got mixed baby talking about me. I don't totally disagree with it.
Girls don't go with girls, boys don't go with boys, don't mix races, and don't move in with a boy until you're married. My sister and her husband got engaged, they bought a house together. My sister was not allowed to live in that house until they had said their vows and officially had married. It's just, oh, come on, like, let's be classy. Like, why are we being tacky and trashy? Ugh.
I gotta go to the comment section. Uh-oh.
When you say integration,
Uh-oh.
it comes on the intermarriage too,
Get
right?
'em.
All
Right.
been together.
Right, sure.
And I'm sure no intelligent white person watching this show, or no intelligent white man in his or her right white mind, want black boys and black girls marrying their white sons and daughters, and in return introducing their grandchildren as half brown, kinky-haired black people.
I'm sure I wouldn't object to that.
Well, you wouldn't, but a lot of them would.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people. No, this is the point.
What I'm trying to say is this. You don't have it. You say you don't, but you don't have it. You really ain't going.
Whoa. I can't show that. Viewer discretion advised. Not falling for this rage bait. She's speaking truth. I see no controversy. Aristotle, democracy is possible only within homogeneous. Neos, whatever the hell, ethnic groups. I suppose fragmented societies and multi-ethnic societies, thus necessarily anti-democratic and chaotic, for it lacks philia, this profound flesh and blood fraternity of citizens. Tyrants and despots divide and rule. They want a city divided by ethnic rivalries. Indispensable condition for ensuring a people's sovereignty accordingly resides in its unity. Ethnic chaos prevents all philia from developing. And as soon as we start to separate, their asses start succeeding with what we do. You just get jealous and want to destroy it.
1921, this was the wealthiest black community in America. What if I told you there were entire black towns, thriving, self-sufficient, powerful, that they erased from your history books on purpose? Number 8, Greenwood, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street. In 1921, this was the wealthiest black community in America. Over 10,000 black residents, more than 600 businesses, banks, hotels,
Flag on the play.
hospitals, a 750-seat theater. On May 31st, 1921, a white mob dropped firebombs from airplanes and burned 35 city blocks to the ground. Over 300 dead. No one was ever charged. Number 7. Langston, Oklahoma. Founded in 1890 by freed families who built their own newspaper, the Langston City Herald. Dozens of businesses, and Langston University, which still educates students today, according to the Encyclopedia of Oklahoma History. Number 6. Freedmen's Town, Houston. After slavery ended, freed people in Houston's Fourth Ward paved their own streets with bricks they made by hand, built Victorian homes, and created a business district with Black-owned banks. The National Museum of African American History documents that by 1900,
Oh, you gonna quit mislabeling us like that? This Black and African American shit.
it was the center of Black Houston, with over 400 Black-owned businesses. Number 5. Weeksville, Brooklyn. Founded in 1838, one of the first free Black communities before the Civil War. By the 1850s, over 500 residents owned property, ran businesses, and built 3 churches and schools. Urban renewal wiped it away. Only 4 houses still stand. Number 4. Mound Bayou, Mississippi. Founded in 1887 by Isaiah Montgomery and Benjamin Green, formerly enslaved by Jefferson Davis's own brother. This all-Black town became completely self-governing with its own mayor, businesses, banks, cotton gins, and infrastructure. Booker T. Washington called it the jewel of the Delta. Number 3. Seneca Village, Manhattan. Founded in 1825, this thriving community of Black
I thought niggas was slaves in 1825.
property owners, 225 residents, 3 churches, 2 schools, existed right where Central Park is now. In 1857, New York used eminent domain to forcibly remove every family and bulldoze their homes to build a park for white elites. Number 2. Boley, Oklahoma. With over 4,000 residents by 1911, it had its own Black government, railroad station, 2 banks, hotels, and even an opera house. Booker T. Washington visited twice and called it the most enterprising and in many ways the most interesting Negro town in the United States. And here's where it gets undeniable. Number 1. Rosewood, Florida. In 1923, a thriving town of 200 Black landowners, farmers, and business owners was completely massacred. According to Florida State investigation, a white mob, sparked by a false accusation, spent an entire week murdering residents, burning every Black-owned home, church, and business to the ground. At least 6 officially documented deaths, but eyewitness accounts suggest 30 to 150 people were killed. Survivors fled into swamps. The town was erased from existence. The perpetrators? Never prosecuted. It took 71 years for Florida to pay reparations. They don't teach you this because if you knew Black people built entire self-sufficient cities without them, you'd question everything they told you about who needs who. So here's my question. If these towns were so successful, why did they have to be destroyed? Drop your truth below. And if this is the first time hearing this, that's exactly the problem. Share it now.
Busted her head with that motherfucking comment. Look at this Black blessed.
What if I told you there were entire Black...
When I be saying shit like this, I be reading dead, blessed, and unbothered. Dead, be less, and unbothered, huh? Uh-oh. Look at this. There's a full war against Europeans, aka white people. Not a cold war, but bullets flying. They may have what? What?
Nu får du den.
Hvad vi kan læse ud af dernede fra gamle tænder og gamle affald. De første mennesker i Grønland, de uddøde på grund af enormt. Dernede i den her lille
I don't know what he's saying, but I know he's saying something about black balls. Damn, they getting on her head. Man, leave that bitch alone. Never was seen you report about how blacks get labeled as white for heinous crimes against women and children. What? You talking about? Somebody made this shit up. Quit playing. Look at this. Race, white. Race, white. Race, white. Race, white. Who made this shit? Cut it out. Oh, shit. They did it dirty. You know that shit fake. You know that shit fake. That is not how they do that. They want us in them statistics. They full of shit. What this African talk about?
Because Finland ties in. I found myself wondering, and this applies to America, and then maybe it'll go to other places in a different way because Finland ties in. Do you think that integration was the right move? Like, and now I'm separating two things because I know in America people are like, well, of course, I mean, there was racism and there was segregation, and I go, yeah, no, I'm separating them. Let's separate someone being oppressed and someone not being able to get a job and someone not being able to get a bank loan. Let's take all of those, the negative things away, because I'll put myself out personally and say, I think whether we're talking about gifted kids who are anomalous, let's say, to the norm, whether we are talking about, and I mean anything that does not fit into a category, I think the part of the reason Finland is able to do it is because, have you been to Finland?
It's very homogeneous.
I've been to Finland. You know who's in Finland? Finnish people. That's it. That's it. And because they're all Finnish, there's an idea of like, no, we all head in the same direction. We all know what our actions mean. And that's a really powerful thing I've learned in communicating with other people. When I'm in a room with anyone where we start to tie together multiple things. So if I'm in a room with black people, already there's like an implicit trust because we know what certain actions, words, and vibes mean. And then you're in a room with another African. Already. Now, even if you shout at me, I know what your shout means. The same way an Italian knows what an Italian shout means.
Yeah.
Right? I know I'm prefacing it with a lot because it's a loaded question.
Yes.
But I would love to know if you think integration was the right solution, maybe, on the other side of, you know, what America, of civil rights.
Yeah. No, I don't. And I don't think it's actually that controversial when, if you understand that segregation and integration weren't the only options. Like those are, within those two options, it may seem like integration is the more progressive. Like, of course, we don't want segregation. But again, when you're being integrated into institutions, into a culture that's a supremacist culture, that's a culture that feeds off of hierarchy, that feeds off of insecurity, anxiety, why are we being integrated into that?
To steal your culture, your inventions, and your wealth. I'm telling you, but you probably wouldn't listen. Damn, Dead Ned. Tell me how you really feel. Living among white people is not a right. Fuck off to the ghetto, black boy. I'm not bothered by you, sir. Oh, not Drake. Who knows? Oh shit, that was Elon put that shit on there? Wait a minute, did I miss that? You might have commented on this shit. Oh no, that's something else. Mixing races is the dumbest thing. It's especially dumb if you mix with sub-Saharans. Literally pooping on your genetics at that point. I can't say nothing wrong for that. We want white tenants in our white community. Nobody said you couldn't have white tenants in your white community, buddy. Stay away from ours, though. Shit. Oh, that's dirty. You deserve it. No. Retarded rage bait, retards left. Breakfast. Oh, whoa. Hey. And we're back at the white people evil, but also Gibbs please. Phase again. Thrilling. Niggers. It's always the niggers. Okay, I'm done with the little goofy ass rabbit hole. Bitch, please. Damn, what's this? I'm gonna have to bookmark this. This shit 2 hours, damn near 3 hours long. Let me get a little bit. Let me see a little bit of this. Oh, with that creepy ass music though. Sheesh.
Clearly, a lot of the designers and architects of Washington, D.C. were Masons, starting with George Washington himself, who was a guy.
I do not believe that there are any secret plans or designs related to Freemasonry.
Well, it was definitely designed according to Masonic principles. The streets are laid out that way. The buildings are laid out that way.
Conspiracists are always looking under their bed for evidence that there is some vast conspiracy.
Masons may very well say that they really aren't influential as far as Washington, D.C. is concerned, and yet the cornerstone was laid by Masons.
You see it in the inverted five-pointed star, which is the goat of Mendes, built into the streets of Washington, D.C.
No, there are no satanic plans in the street plans of Washington, D.C.
There is a pentagram to the north of the White House.
But the streets don't actually connect to form a pentagram. This is geometry. It happens.
No one can have that happen accidentally.
The anti-Masons want to show that there is some demonic conspiracy.
It's Baal worship. That's what you're involved in.
That is what Masonry is based upon, the power of the dragon.
In a word, hogwash.
When you want to talk
The power of the dragon, huh?
about symbols and what they mean, you really have to look at who's authored these symbols.
With symbols, there are always multiple levels. Symbols reveal and they conceal.
Right, they're definitely talking about Negroes.
And that's why they're used and that's why they're so important. They reveal.
You trying to tell me that ain't a nigga right there? Huh? Ain't nobody gonna sit up there and tell me that right there ain't a nigga. What an Al Sharpton do. He got that comb back. He combed that thing back. Rocking that beard like I be rocking that beard and shit. That there's a nigga. That bright nigga right, look, nigga right there with the fade and the little ducktail back there. Look at that. Ain't that Versace design? Ain't that what they use? Is that Versace? No, that's Louis. Who used that? This here design back here on this banner. What clothing line uses that? Not gonna let y'all skate with this. Ooh, yeah, I'm bookmarking this so I can get to this at a later date. This gonna be a good one. Jesus Christ is my nigga. Is that Fendi? That little design they be using right there? They be stealing everything. They be stealing all kind of shit. Look, my man's got the great book. Look at that book. He got the keys. He holding the keys. He got the book. That's a brother.
To those who have eyes.
That look like a damn man. They start putting they transgender shit out all over the place. That's definitely not a woman.
To see. And
let me see. Let me look at that. Is that a newer statue? Versace. That looked like a Versace. One of them damn companies.
Ears to hear.
Look at my man hairdo. Sheesh. Birds of prey. This is wild.
If I would have told you this 15 years ago, I might have gotten shot.
When they're shooting at you, you know they're serious.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to get into that. I'm definitely gonna, yep, that's bookmarked. I'm saving that for later. Yeah, buddy. $2.11. Time me to get my ass up out of here, y'all. Scricket, 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 scricket. Going on some of that wild shit.
I'm in my zone. I'm in the club, rolling up. Big backwood lit, drinking my cup. Good ass girl in my lap. She wearing no drawers and she turned. All my real niggas alert. All my bad bitches alert. And this motherfucker finna get burnt. Big bag, I'm on go. 2 women with me, I'm in player mode. Rolling on a wave and I'm sipping some shit. We fucking all night. Nigga, we ain't going home. These diamonds so cold, these diamonds so froze. Big ass AP, look like an ice cream cone. It's Friday night, finna get right, bitch. I'm in my zone. Pulled up clean, neck on glow. Whole block watch when I step through the door. Shorty in Chanel, she bad. Ass so fat, got a hump in the back. All my real niggas outside. All my bad bitches gon' ride. And this whole city know it's our time. Big flex, I don't fold. 3 chains on me, heart still cold. Dripping like a puddle when I walk through this bitch. We counting the bands. Nigga, we ain't going broke. These diamonds so cold, these diamonds so froze. Big ass AP, look like an ice cream cone. It's Friday night, feeling so right, bitch. I'm in my zone. Big bag, I'm on go. 2 women with me, I'm in player mode. Rolling on a wave and I'm sipping some shit. We fucking all night. Nigga, we ain't going home. These diamonds so cold, these diamonds so froze. Big ass AP, look like an ice cream cone. Late night lights, city on glow, bitch. I'm in my zone. Yeah. Late night drive, top down low. Stars in the roof, got the whole sky close. Good ass gas in the air. Money in the bank, I don't never play fair. All my real niggas on deck. All my bad bitches cut checks. And we really living what we post on the net. Big talk, big throne, king in this bitch. I done took that road. Rolling on a wave while I'm counting up chips. We fucking up life. Nigga, we ain't going home. These diamonds so cold, these diamonds so froze. Big ass AP, look like an ice cream cone. It's Friday night, finna take flight, bitch. I'm in my zone. Big bag, I'm on go. 2 women with me, I'm in player mode. Rolling on a wave and I'm sipping some shit. We fucking all night. We ain't going home. These diamonds so cold. These diamonds so froze. Big ass AP, look like an ice cream cone. Sun coming up, but we want more. Bitch, I'm in my zone. Yeah. Yeah. Big block. Big block. Big block. Big block. Big block. Yeah. Big block, small block. Yeah. Yeah. Big block. Small block. Big block. Big block. Yeah. Big block. Big block. Big block. Big block. Small block. Big block, small block. Open that bitch up, have it screaming down your block. 454 with the posse rear. 5.0 with the racing gears. Big block, small block, high performance, not stock. Open that bitch up, have it screaming down your block. Sitting at the stoplight, gripping the blunt. A cat pulled up, revving his motor, he tryna stunt. I gave him my contact, motherfucker, what's up? When the light hit green, then I let up off the clutch. Be easy though, you don't wanna spin out, I gotta keep the traction so focused. No tire burn out, this wins. I got the habit, headed for top speed, ducking and dodging through the traffic. Now I done had it with the fast and the furious shit. 454 big block, backed by the shift kid. I guess he thought he had me from the sound of the idol. That's when I hit him with a wager, let's race title for title. 454 with the posse rear. 5.0 with the racing gears. Big block, small block, high performance, not stock. Open that bitch up, have it screaming down your block. 454 with the posse rear. 5.0 with the racing gears. Big block, small block, high performance, not stock. Open that bitch up, have it screaming down the block. Now we lined up, crowd gathered on the side. Shorty with the checkered flag, waving, yelling, ride. Heart rate banging like the subs in the trunk. Nitrous in the back, got that extra little punch. He jumping off the line, tires peeling in the lane. I'm hooking the perfect, hear the whistle of the can. Quarter mile coming and I'm barely even phased. See him in my rear view, swimming in the haze. Shifting through the gears, every change on time. Dashboard lit, red line on my mind. By the 8 mile mark, I done left him in the smoke. He was talking like a boss, now his whole front broke. 454 with the posse rear. 5.0 with the racing gears. Big block, small block, high performance, not stock. Open that bitch up, have it screaming down your block. 454 with the posse rear. 5.0 with the racing gears. Big block, small block, high performance, not stock. Open that bitch up, have it screaming down your block. Pulled to the cut, everybody yelling, damn. He rolled up slow, popped the hood on his jam. Paper, work ready, title sitting on the dash. I took it with a grand, slipped it right in my stash. Told him ain't personal, it's the life that we live. Horsepower talk, streets take, streets give. Homie circle in the ride, talking swaps, new plans, new motor, new rims, chrome pipes, new stands. Police hit the block, lights flashing in the mist. We scatter like roaches and just screaming through the twist. Back to the crib, 2 whips in the yard. Another late night, run another notch on the car. 454 with the posse rear. 5.0 with the racing gears. Big block, big block, big block. Big block, small block. Open that bitch up, have it screaming down your block. 454 with the posse rear. 5.0 with the racing gears. Big block, small block, high performance, not stock. Open that bitch up, have it screaming down your block. Big block. Big block. Big block.
Some say we ain't old shit. Ain't that a bitch? I challenge you to prove us wrong. My ancestors' bones are buried deep in American dirt. The deeper you dig, the longer the timeline gets. I'll continue to speak through song, but I will not forget to speak through action. I'm not a believer, for I choose to know. I know where I stand, I know where I'm from, and I know where I'm headed. Because when you find yourself, you find God. Remember that.
Reparation, it'll never be in the mail. Restitution, just another tall trail. Restoration of a kingdom, rebuild the throne. Redemption's the seed we've been sowing on our own. Reparation, it'll never be in the mail. Never mail. Restitution, just another tall tale. Restoration of a kingdom, rebuild the throne. Redemption's the seed we've been sowing on our own. Whistles blow, steel mill moan. Blood in the cotton, ghosts of the past still lurk. Not forgotten, chains on the mind, plus chains on the wallet. 40 acres, you mean the nation, they just started. Roots run deep where the magnolia lean. Dirt rich soil, but the soul ain't clean. Every lie denies the birthright of the bloodline. Payback overdue, you running out of time. It'll never be in the mail. Restitution, just another tall tale. Restoration of a kingdom, rebuild the throne. Redemption's the seed we've been sowing on our own. Reparations, it'll never be in the mail. Restitution's just another tall tale. Restoration of a kingdom, rebuild the throne. Redemption's the seed we've been sowing on our own. Yeah. Grandmother prayed by the riverside weeping. Sins of their forefathers in the ground still creeping. Fried chicken grease on the stove still popping. Dreams fried crispy, hard truths ain't stopping. Jim Crow shadows still cast long low. Swamp water whisper secrets only we know. Told us to pull up from the booth that we start. How you fix a scorched field with a separation? It'll never be in the mail. Restitution just another tall tale. Restoration of a kingdom, rebuild the throne. Redemption's the seed we've been sowing on our own. Reparations, it'll never be in the mail. Restitution just another tall tale. Restoration of a kingdom, rebuild the throne. Redemption's the seed we've been sowing on our own. Yeah. Plenty receipts for the pain they inflicted. Plenty receipts for the culture restricted. Took a rhythm, left us the blues, but the rhythm came back. Now it's breaking loose. From Delta dirt to Cahokia streets, we the bricks in the road, we the drumline beats, copper colored uprising, hands reach for the crown. American justice, aboriginals come around. It'll never be in the mail. Restitution just another tall tale. Restoration of a kingdom, rebuild the throne. Redemption's the seed we've been sowing on our own. Rise from the ruins, the soul still sing. Trauma of the past, don't bind these wings. Through fire and shadow, truth does stand. From reckoning's ashes, the soul defend. Fire shit. We on cuz history and paid the heaviest pyramid stone. Promises ghosted, exposed, marrow, broken bone and dry. Making the contract, the phantom voices from the wall. Echo, whisper, silence holds the anthem. Broken legend, peep the lecture. Who signs for the scars? Generations built kingdoms on land and sea. Now they got us out of space, reaching for stars. Rise from the ruins, the soul still sing. Trauma of the past, don't bind these wings. Through fire and shadow, the truth ascends. From reckoning's ashes, the soul defends. Balance tip, the scales lean. You dirty crook, justice not found, pockets deep. Overlooked, why you shook? Paved streets of gold, but who paid the toll? Riches in their coffers, but they borrowed the soul. Restitution, a word heavy with weight. Who writes a check when history's late? It's only fate, mark the date. Game over. Rise from the ruins, soul still sing. Trauma of the past, don't bind these wings. The fire and shadow, the truth does sing. From reckoning's ashes, the soul defends. Rebuilt from the wreckage, brick by brick. Hands that heal, no more Houdini tricks. Restoration of soil screams for seeds. No greed, a garden blooming with truth, not just pulling the weeds. Blueprints drawn in blood, sweating and tears. Keep your stride, fix the foundation and step inside. Bitch, we arrive. Rise from the ruins, soul still sing. Trauma of the past, don't bind these wings. The fire and shadow, the truth does sting. in these ashes. It's so defend.
Get down or lay down. Hey, 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 too many bad bitches, too many thick guys. Smoking blunts, acting funny, playing jazz like Nas. It ain't hard to tell we like the last kind. No sympathy, they try to give me for my last dime. On the ride, used to catch the 29, kept it on me, made me walk it cause it cost a 25. Jugging all through summer by December, all I want is mine. Shooting movies, keep that 40 on me like the son of Sam. On the move, just like Goons with a plan. Send a shot, get it hot, that's a 10. West Coast, let's go, bitch, I'm the man. All of that work and just go get your man. Ay, like Pac and Drake, get a pound, they on the way. Make them bitches pay to pray, make them bitches pay to stay. Ay, we put that pressure on me. Kid in the paint, it's go like all you really think they own it. And if they easy, go ahead, tell them get they homie. We in the trap, you smell the stank when you get up on me. And if you ask me about that cash, you know we get it, don't we? Get down or lay down. Ay, get down or lay down. Ay, get down or lay down. Ay, get down or lay down. Pimpin' hoe, you stick to the coast, she not off limits though. Simmer slow, keep it on low and let the liquor flow. Tell her go and she come back with bands, this shit ain't difficult. If we play, tell him go get his mans, we getting physical. It's a go, ask about me, bitch, I been a pro. Get a scope, we shoot through the scope, you niggas pigeonhole. Biggest ghost, talking about that dope, the shit that gave them hope. Get down or lay down. Ay, get down or lay down. Ay, get down or lay down. Ay, get down or lay down.
You really not him? No, no. You not him? No, no. You not him? Please believe it, please. You really, really not him. You really not him? No, no. You not him? Please believe it, please. You really, really not. Talk big online, in person you quiet. All that talk turn tiny when it's time to apply. Whole crew styrofoam, melt when the heat hit. Tryna wear a crown, can't even keep a bitch. Calling for a life that you can't afford. Borrowed every move, still your image look forced. I see through the act, every caption, every pic. You rehearsing in the mirror, but it still don't fit. You re-hated quotes, serving like their wisdom, chasing every trend, still can't find your rhythm. You measure every moment by the likes you get, but the room go dead when we really check your rap. You not him, no, no. You not him, no, no. You not him. Please believe it, please. You really, really not him, no. You really not him, no, no. You not him. Please believe it, please. You really, really not him. 12 bars, breathe it in. Please believe it, please. You really not him. Got some in your head, talking big in the chat, go quiet in the flesh. Do we have to go through this again? Yeah, we do, cause you still pretend. Say you run plays, but you fumble the snap. Say you got smoke, but it's all in the cap. I seen real ones lose and still stand tall. You chase likes, can't look in the mirror at all. Please believe it, please. You really not him. Just story you tell yourself, you tell yourself. You really not him. No, no. You not him. No, no. You not him. Please believe it, please. You really not him. You really not him. No, no. You not him. Please believe it, please. You really not him. Even if you know you're not him, you just talk loud, that's it. The whole crew was playing. All bark, no bite, no heart in it. You
You chase clout, I chase wins. You chase trends, I set them. You post proof, I live this. Every loss, that's big gems. You want throne pics, fake crown. I get work done, break ground. You want phones out, fake sound. I got her ass up, face down. I told you you're not him. Stop rehearsing in my lane. You got costume, you got script. I got scars and I got a name. Nigga, I'm him. You really not him. No, you not him. Please believe it, please, you really, really not him. You really not him. No, you not him. Please believe it, please, you really, really not him. You really not him. No, you not him. No, you not him. Please believe it, please, you really, really not him. No, you really not him. No, you not him. Please believe it, please, you really, really not him. No, you not him. No, you not him. No, I am him.
Handle me. Oh Lord. Oh Lord, which one is that? Handle me. Oh Lord, let me say that. Handle me. Okay, let me get to that.
These niggas can't handle me. It ain't hard to see, that's why they all tryna damage me. But they can't get rid of me. I'm still out here running these streets. I'm still out here getting this green. But I move like a phantom sleep. Can't let the feds know it's me. And these hoes still after me. Cause they can't get enough of me. And they know that they can't replace me. But you can't be my wifey. I just want you for one night. Get on your knees, let's have a good time. And after that, we say goodbye. They say that they can't handle me. These niggas can't handle me. I know you can't handle me. Baby, you can't handle me. You can't handle me. Niggas can't handle me. I know you can't handle me. I know you can't handle me. Baby, you can't handle me. You can't handle me, baby, it's the energy. And I don't give a fuck about you niggas that be envy me. And I ain't fucking with no bitches that be acting friendly. You can't get no Benz keys, you ain't my wifey. Just come and please me. And after that, you gotta leave me. I'm outside, baby, so you know I gotta keep heat. One in the head, cause you know I gotta stay on beat. They try to bring me down, but I'm never falling off. I ain't never fall off, I ain't never falling off. 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 They say that they can't handle me. These niggas can't handle me. I know you can't handle me. Baby, you can't handle me. Handle me, baby, you can't handle me. These niggas can't handle me. These niggas can't handle me. I know you can't handle me. Baby, you can't handle me. Handle me, baby, you can't handle me. These niggas can't handle me. I put a bounty on them. I'm out the country. If you need me, bitch, I stay in London. But I ain't never ducking. Still keep the 40 tucking. You won't get nothing from me unless you something for me. You ain't my shorty, and I ain't never lonely. So don't be blowing up my phone when you get horny. I'm not your homie. That's why you niggas so phony. Y'all so phony. That's why you niggas can't handle me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You move like a whisper in the rain. Soft and slow. I can't explain. Every step pulls me closer. Can't refrain. Your light, a spark lights up the air. Do you know? Do you care? Shadows and sunlight, dancing in time. Your Your heart beats with mine. Your heart beats with mine. Your heart beats with mine. Love like a rhythm, endless and kind. Love like a rhythm, endless and kind. Endless and kind. I speak in verses, you reply in rhymes. We turn seconds into lifetimes. Your eyes, they hold secrets of other skies. Do you see the way stars leaning to hear us? Do you feel the world spin just to be near us? Shadows and sunlight, dancing in time. Your heart beats with mine. Your heart beats with mine. Your heart beats with mine. Love like a rhythm, endless and kind. Love like a rhythm, endless and kind. Endless and kind.
Moonlight dripping on the floor, hearts racing, wanting more. Skin on skin like ocean waves, tangled in the heat we crave. Yeah. Love making is what I do. A rhythm, a spark, electric too. Hands collide, the night breaks through. Love making, yeah, it's what I do. Ooh, curtains swaying slow and sweet. Our shadows dance where time won't meet. Breathless whispers fill the air. Every move, no moment spare. I feel your pulse, it matches mine. Every second bends the line. Love making is what I do. A rhythm, spark, the lands collide. The night breaks through. Oh, love making, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's what I do. You. Ooh, your touch, it's a melody. I sing a song that only passion brings. Oh, the world fades, just me and you. Love making is all we do. Your eyes burn like a velvet flame. A quiet storm whispering my name. Fingers tracing slow as time. Your breath is music, soft, divine. The night is endless, the air so sweet. Our hearts in rhythm, every beat. Making love like the world don't turn. Skin on skin where the fire burns. Making love in the dark we glow. A language only our hearts know. Moonlight dripping, silver and shy, shadows dancing, you and I. Every touch a gentle spark, loving loud inside the dark. The stars are falling, we pull them near. Every sigh erases fear. Making love like the world don't turn. Skin on skin where the fire burns. Making love in the dark we glow. A language only our hearts know.
She got a glow, moonlight dripping on the skin. Chocolate silk, the universe tucked within. Every step a sonnet, every word of him. Her laugh a melody, my world starts to spin.
He got a fire, and my eyes will never fade. Shoulders broad, holding burdens life has made. Voice of velvet thunder, steady in the shade. With him I'm safe like a house love is made. We into the grind, like roots beneath the ground. Two hearts beating in the same profound sound.
No need to search, no need to roam. With your love, I found my home. Her dreams paint murals on the night sky's face. Every glance she throws a masterpiece in space. She ain't a diamond now, she the whole mine. Queen of my life and the crown's divine.
His drink is steady like rivers carving stone. You're soft enough to make the wild feel at home. He ain't a star, nah, he's the whole sky. King of my heart where the love can't die.
Every wound healed by the touch, the word. Every doubt silenced by the truth we heard. Through storms and droughts we stand, we thrive. This love eternal, it's alive, alive.
Take me there. Let it linger, speaking clearer. Stay right there. Lights low, but your eyes still glow. Here we go, but we move so slow. Whispered heat in the velvet air. Every inch of me pressing you there. Take me deeper, let it linger. Taste yourself on my fingers. Body's language speaking clearer. No words, I just want you right there, right there. Satin sheets tangle like a mine. Every curve a treasure I find. Breathless rhythm, hearts collide. I'm drowning in you, no place to hide. Every touch a wildfire, inferno burning. Every look a lesson I'm learning. Ooh, yeah. Take me deeper, let it linger. Let it linger. Place yourself on my finger. Body's language speaking clear. No words, I just want you right there. Gravity's gone, but I'm pulled to you. The night's a secret is only between me and you. Drunk on the heat dripping from your skin. This fever starts where your lips begin. Your nails trace maps on my skin tonight. Every touch burns like fire, but it feels so right. The clock's got no say when the room's this hot. Sweat drips slow, I'm caught in your plot. Breathing heavy, hearts collide. No escape, nowhere to hide. Take me deeper, let it linger. Taste yourself on me. On my feelings. Girl, use language speaking clear. No words, I just want you right there under silk sheets. You're my confession. Every move you make a deep obsession. Say my name, let my rhythm slide and create heat until the night ends. I went hard, I went hard, I went
Scales on my skin, gold grin, I'm awake. Smoke in my lungs, whole world on my plate. Praying I fall like the shark in my fangs. Dame ring bells like a war horn bang. Fire breathing dragon, watch me light that sky up. Legend in the canyon, every step that ground erupt. They talk big, they vanish on the myth they can't touch. Fire breathing dragon, say my name, that's bad luck. Blood on my claw, I don't beg, I claim. Walk through a storm, got a trail of flame. Castle on the cliff with my mark in stone. Every king in the book just a stepping stone. Ash on my wings, still I rise, still I glide. They hide in the crowd, I run mountain sides. Hold map mind, see the edges curve. Took one deep breath, changed the world. Fire breathing dragon, watch me light the sky up. Legend in the canyon, every step that ground erupt. They talk big, they vanish on the myth they can't touch. Fire breathing dragon, say my name, that's bad luck. Plate full of trophies and metal and heaps. Didn't buy one, every one I keep. Came from the dark with a bait, don't go. Turn that fear to a burning glow. They write my story, can't spell my rage. Every bar carved like a claw through a page. You chase trends, I chase horizons. You see smoke, I see my island. Ooh, I'm war with a living quake. Heart too hot, make the rivers bake. You hear that roar when the cloud bank shakes. That's my hunger, that's your mistake. Fire breathing dragon, watch me light the sky up. Legend in the canyon, every step that ground erupt. They talk big, they vanish on the myth they can't touch. Fire breathing dragon, say my name, that's bad luck. Bad luck, bad luck, bad luck, bad luck.
It's that blueprint talk. Family first. Nation rise. Yeah. Strong mama in the kitchen, head wrap, stand tall. Stretch a little pot, feed five, that's y'all. Turn a food stamp line to a game plan scribble. Baby, read that sign, sound it out, break the riddle. Early in the morning, she up, eyes red. Packing little lunches, still making up the bed. Do your homework first, then you grab that phone. She the first safe place that the baby's ever known. Bills on the table, stress in the air, but she still find time just to braid up hair. Straight A's on the fridge, that's a crown on display. She say focus now, shine later, that's the way. Nation building 101. Start at home, strong mothers, focus kids. Mind stay grown, strong fathers, balance hands. Heart stay strong, get the family right. Watch the whole hood come along. Nation building 101. Brick by brick, teach love, teach law, teach mind over quick. We don't beg for a throne, we just claim that seat. One house, one block, one nation on his feet, on his feet. Strong mama at the desk, late night class notes. Studying for nursing while she zip up coats. Baby at the table doing math, same grind. 2 generations locked on the same climb. She don't let them hide from the books, no slack. Check every answer, then you run it right back. Turn cartoons off, let a doc film play. Know where you from, then you know what to say. She clap for each win, still correcting each flaw. Teach them how to think, how to question every law. She don't raise little followers, she raising up a team. Every focused child start at somebody's nation building 101. Start at home, strong mothers, focus kids. Mind stay grown, strong fathers, balance hand. Heart stay strong, get the family right. Watch the whole hood come along. Nation building 101. Brick by brick, teach love, teach law, teach mind over quick. We don't beg for a throne, we just claim that seat. One house, one block, one nation on his feet, on his feet. Strong daddy in the driveway, grease on his palms. Teaching little man how to tighten the arms. Hold that light steady, keep your word like that, yeah. Discipline with patience, never swing off cap. He correct, then he hug, that's the real backbone. Show a daughter how a king act, calm tone. Look him in the eyes when you speak, stand firm. Every choice got a cost, every loss gotta learn. He had every game, on the front bleacher. Then at night, open books, he a home teacher. Balanced in the spirit, he ain't ruled by rage. He just set clear lines like bars on a page. Nation building 101. Start at home, strong mothers, focus kids. Mind stay grown, strong fathers, balance hands. Heart stay strong, get the family right. Watch the whole hood come along. Nation building 101. Brick by brick, teach love, teach law, teach mind over quick. We don't beg for a throne, we just claim that seat. One house, one block, one nation on his feet, on his feet, on his feet. Up on his feet. Up on his feet. Up on his feet. Teach love, teach love.
Yeah. Listen up. You have to pick a side. Yeah. 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 They profit when we're boxed in, color coded. Scroll wars, broke floors, mine's corroded. Got you barking at your neighbor for a headline. Why they signing off the city for a deadline? Yeah. Same rent late, same fridge bare. Same bus route, same blank stare. Why you beefing with the mirror, letting them demons in? Same wound, same blade, different spin. Unified die, that's the bottom line. Either hold the line together or they cut the spine. You can fight me or you can fight the lie. Choose one. Unify or die. Unify, die, hear the battle cry. Yeah. Either build a bridge or we all run dry. You can hate your blood or you can hate the vine. Choose one. Yeah. Unify or they die. Sell fear like it's candy in a glass jar. Feeding panic to the masses, playing a black card. Left, right, that's a puppet in a split suit. Real power sitting quiet in a rich room. You throw hands at your brother in the same trench. Same cough in your chest. The same bench. If the landlord love you both in the same way, you ain't rivals, you just victims on a layaway. Unified die, that's the bottom line. Either hold the line together or they cut the spine. You can fight me or you can fight the lie. Choose one. Unify or die. Unify, die, hear the battle cry. Either build a bridge or we all run dry. You can hate your blood or you can hate the vine. Choose one. Yeah. Unify or die. Hands up, not for trends, for each other. Name one win, they ain't split us to cover. We all broke, they just changed the shade. Same storm, different rain on our face. I'm from a place where they rather see us vilify. Scrolling through the pain, pick a side, then we signify. Algorithm war, every comment like a battle cry. Either we expand the circle or we simplify. You keep telling me I'm right, that's a lullaby. Rockin' saw to sleep while the roof sitting over fire. Leaders talk tough, but they courage only monetize. I'm just trying to build a bridge higher than the border signs. Kids growing up thinking empathy is obsolete. Hearts on red receipts, love lost in the data sheet. History repeats when we treat truth like a product line. Either share the water or we watch the whole garden die. So I look my people in the face when the sirens cry. Pull each other up even when we don't see eye to eye. Hands in the middle, swear we live in what we testify. Say we rise together, this the code. Unified die. Unified die, that's the bottom line. Either hold the line together or they cut the spine. You can fight me or you can fight the lie. Choose one. Unify or die. Unified die, hear the battle cry. Either build a bridge or we all run dry. You can hate your blood or you can hate the vine. Choose one. Unify or die.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Mind mister. Let's go on the track. They flood the block with sugar. Yeah. Call it love in a bright red can. Y'all just say pressure too high, my brother. But the corner got a 2-for-1 plan. They lace off school to sirens. Yeah. Mad with those cameras on the keys. Guidance counselor juggling 30 broken stories. Yeah. Meanwhile, prisons beating on beds. They say this beer on the radio. Same 3 chains, same dead screw. Tell a young empress she only worth a shake. Tell a young king he only worth a bill. This is math in the backroom ledger.
Every life just a line of squeeze. Target market stamped on our faces. Low map mark, take what you please. Poison pushers in designer suits. Smile while with that clean white teeth. The mining schemes in the ballroom hole. Turn our babies in the balance sheet. American genocide. They dress it up nice. New war, new deals ain't nice. We numbers, we ain't your price. We calling out your American genocide. We calling out your American genocide. We calling out your American genocide. They turned our hunting to a slogan. $1 million, you right by the church. Ashy playground broken, swing set, liquor store shining on every purse. They cut the bus line to blame us. When we late, when we can't clock in. Boss man talking about personal feelings. His cousin wrote the law, we drowning in. They call it church when they poison water. Call it order when they flood our streets. Symbol guns with the books are missing in. That's why we fight just to eat. They buy a coach, sell it back, hollow paint our plane, that's a fashion trend. With the zip codes, with the software source, still decide how I score in. Poison pushers in designer suits. Swell out with they clean white teeth. The money schemes in the ballroom hall. Turn our babies in the balance sheets. American genocide. They dress it all nice. Do all new pills ain't nice. We know we ain't your bride. We calling out your American genocide. We calling out your American genocide. We calling out your American genocide. We know it's hard. My grandma kept the merch in the kitchen, quiet prayers over pipes and plans. She said, baby, read every label, they ain't feeding you. They're feeding their plan. We playing greens in the cracks of the concrete. Teach our sons how to bring out boats. Tell our daughters that crowns ain't plastic. They much more fire than the you post. We study law like we study scripture. Court things uncle like holidays. It's they wage war on the way that we leave them. We wage love in 1,000 ways. From the march to the PTA meeting, from the cipher to the pastor mic. We 99s, we trace their money. Try the shadows in the light. Into the lies and pushes in the sign and suits. Smile while wear that clean white team. The money schemes in the ballroom room. Tell our babies in the balance sheets. American genocide. They dress it all nice. New war, new kills ain't nice. We know we ain't your Bobby calling out your American genocide. We calling out your American genocide. We calling out your American genocide. We live and do just America. We live and do this American genocide. I ain't beefing with the demon, I confront the bitch. Every scar on my soul, yeah, I done it. Devil banging bass drum, working the drum kit. Mama praying in the pew, saying son quit. But I'm stitched from the cloth where you stand on shit. If I did dirt, then my word got my hands on it. Devil in my ear, selling dreams on a payment plan. Told me I could fly, but he hit the facts quicksand. Whole block worship what they can't own. Flexing face stones, renting fake loans. I seen killers turn clown when the case closed. Talking about guys playing, they just hate growth. I wouldn't need deep gun tuck, heart froze. Spirit whisper, tell the truth for your soul. So had to kill the lie living in my own head. For the lie, put a mark on my forehead. The devil is a lie. I don't buy that. He talk big, but he high. I don't like that. Put my life on the line. For the right facts, rather down the truth than down the rat track. Devil is a lie. I won't side up. If it ain't real, then the deal getting dry. I still be straight in my eyes. I don't write cap. If my tongue saved in my backbone back there. I done broke bread with the crooked and the holy. Pistol in the trunk, speaking scripture through the song. Pastor shaking hands, but his eyes looking phony. Devil wear cologne, smell rich, call your homie. Offer me a bag for my silence and my honor. Trying to make me lie to my seed. But I'ma tell him about his mama, told him I'm a man. Not a product, not a comma, you can keep the chaos. I ain't chasing your drama, homie took the shortcut, and I ain't short lived. Told the lie so long that it walked him. Trying to paint his glass like a portrait. But the blood on his hands wrote the forfeit. I see snitches throw dirt on the dead name. Crying in front of a headstone bearing his name. Talk loud, but they souls speak a dead slang. Got you like a truth walk, he don't need game. The devil is a lie. I don't buy that. He talk big, but he high. I don't like that. Put my life on the line. For the right facts, rather down the truth than down the red track. The devil is a lie. I won't side.
If it ain't real, then the deal getting dry. Look me straight in my eye. I don't write cap. If my tongue say it, then my backbone back there. And tell me play along, you can shine more. Kept a little one, the body count crime low. Say you ain't a whole city, make them one war. But I'd rather be small than a big fraud. Our little cousin looking up like I'm scripture. What I say turn his choices to a mixture. If I glamorize the page in my stories, he gon' chase bars, never take glory. So I'm talking about the nights I was dead broke, about the cold flows, about the stress smoke, about the friends in the ground who ain't get old, about the weight on my chest when I'm big cold. Truth cutter, bloody grain with slice through. Fear talk cute, but it bite you. A devil in the deal, read the fine print. I just sound with the light, let my life in. The devil is a lie. I don't buy that. He's so big, but he high. I don't like that. Put my life on the line for the right facts. Rather down the truth than die in the red track. The devil is a lie. I won't side up. If it ain't real, then the bill getting dry. Look me straight in my eyes. I don't write cat. If my tongue say it, then my backbone back there.
Yes, sir. All right, T-Dub. I'ma get it together so you can slap that shit. That motherfucker be going. I can't count. It be having me going. Especially when I'm in the truck slapping that shit. I mean, motherfucker at the stoplight, like, "Arr, arr." You know what I'm saying? Hey, right on for kicking it with me this rising this afternoon, y'all, man. I'm gonna have to get on up out of here, man. Salute. Keep it facking on y'all, man. None of your business. T-Dub, Brother Nasir, American Business, Roger W. There was somebody else that popped up in here. Live and Learn. Good shit, good shit, good shit. There was somebody else that popped in here too. I'm gonna get that track together though and get that out there. The world need quite a few of these jams, man. And if I forgot you, if I didn't get you in on the shout outs on the end of this, man, I apologize, but I'm gonna keep it moving. Y'all be easy, enjoy the rest of your day. Don't let the world stress you out too much. But I'll let you know when I get it out there. T-Dub. Until next time, old dude signing out. Peace. My dog even said, woof, woof, woof. Hey, for dreaming and barking and shit. All right. I'm out.
There's throwers, there's pitchers, and those kinds of pitchers that can hit their spots. And, if they see you chasing a zone or chasing a pitch, they